Sabenya Baba. What is up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, YouTube? How we doing? It's your boy Trey from Trey's Trades. I think that's what they call me. Just back again for another live stream here. It has been a minute. Unfortunately, I was not able to live stream this week. Got a lot to talk about in terms of what the heck's going on there. Why I'm only putting out a couple videos a day, 1 or 2 videos a day. But I do plan on live streaming during the weekends when I can't live stream during the week. And I will actually have a good week coming up where I should be able to, quote, I should, right? Should be able to stream bell to bell. So you guys can expect that from me. But a lot of really fun stuff happening in my personal life that I can talk about here. But the whole purpose of this is going to be an Ask Me Anything. This can be about stocks. This can be about personal life. This can be any freaking questions that you want. This is laid back. It's the weekend. The market's not open, right? So it's freaking whatever you want this to be. But I want to start off this live stream by telling you guys, you know, kind of what's going on in my own personal life. So as you guys know, I did not live stream this last week, and that is because my personal job, right, my career that I'm working right now outside of YouTube, I was on a little bit of a medical hold status, right? So there was a good month period of time where I was just chilling in my hotel, and I was able to live stream, you know, bell to bell during the regular market hours. But now they have me working a staff job. I can't talk specifically about what I do, what my job is, but what I can tell you is I work 9 to 5 during the week, and sometimes I gotta go in earlier, right? So I check in with my boss at about 6 in the morning. That takes about a half hour of my day, and then I get back and I give my love to the Discord, try and give them some you know, attention to different plays that they're in, answer some questions, interact with the community there, and then I gotta go to work, right? So it takes me, you know, about a half hour to get ready, to drive in, to get my breakfast, to get my coffee, all that sort of stuff. I work till 5 at the earliest is when I get out. Some days it's a little later, 5:30, 6 o'clock. Then I come back and I make you guys a video, you know, chat with my girlfriend and move on with my day. But that's kind of what my life situation looks like right now. Why I'm not able to live stream the regular market hours as it sits right now. This isn't a permanent situation, but this is something that likely will stand as is for the time being. I can't talk a lot about the details, but what I can tell you is this isn't something that'll last forever, right? So I eventually will be able to get back to you know, live streaming bell to bell on a pretty consistent basis, but it's just not, you know, where I'm at in my current life situation, unfortunately. So we'll make up for it. We'll make up for it by doing these live streams on the weekends. Glasses. You guys, god dang it, Bob, sag it. Oh, give me 1 sec, I'll be right back. Lamp, you done good. You done good, Lamp. Lamp really done good, huh? That's good. But anyways, it's not a forever situation, right? So this is something that I just have to do for the time being. I will be, you know, working that 9 to 5 job, and then when I can live stream, I will on the weekends. I'm planning on live streaming both Saturday and Sunday for at least a couple hours each. That way I can answer any questions you guys have about stocks, any questions you have about anything, right? Today's pretty laid back. It is, like I said, isn't Ask Me Anything. Having a conversation, just chilling out, but that's what the purpose is going to be here. And then any time that I have the opportunity to stream during the pre-market, I will do so, right? But like I said, I am working that 9 to 5. There's a lot of times that I have to take some time to get ready to go into work and get all my stuff put together, all my paperwork, all my documents. And it does keep me pretty freaking busy. So that's what we're kind of looking at right here, and why I'm not streaming as much as I used to. But you guys deserve an explanation. I did put out a video talking about it. I'm sure that not everybody had the opportunity to see it, but that's kind of the situation right there. So outside of that, what else did I have? There was one other thing, but I can't remember. Well, it'll probably come back to me, but that's what I've got for now. So Trey's glasses in the house. Trey's lamp is doing good. I'll tell you what, when I move out of my hotel, oh, now I remember what I was going to say. So not this upcoming week, but the week after that, I'm going to be driving out to North Carolina. I'm going to take a little bit of leave. I got a week approved. So I'm going to be driving out to North Carolina and kind of settling into my house. And that's going to be freaking sick. I'm so pumped for that. It's not a permanent thing, but it does mean that I get a week off of work and a week that I can live stream bell to bell and answer any questions you guys have. Enjoy the freaking regular market hours with everybody, so you guys can look forward to that, and I'm pretty freaking excited for it. So you'll get a new setup for a week. I'll bring my computer with me. I'm going to drive out and you know, set it up in my home and you know, get things rocking and rolling. But we'll have at least a week together, my friends. So you guys can expect that from me in the near future. But there's what I've got for you right now. Subway Cup is looking dang sexy, Christopher. You're absolutely right. I love it. All right, so we got a question that says, how does AMC get out of debt? So a good question. getting out of debt is I shouldn't say very simple, but it's simple in the terms of they just needed to generate more revenue, right? So the large majority of why they got put into debt is because of COVID and quarantine. They had a very, very, very hard time generating revenue. Like Adam Aaron said it in his interview, it was literally like overnight, right? The whole country shut down. That cut off all their streams of income, right? Every single theater couldn't produce any sort of cash flow. So when you can't produce cash flow, you have to put yourself in debt in order to keep the company alive. They were on the verge of bankruptcy and they overcame it, right? And bankruptcy is off the table, which is why I kind of want to talk about this as well. Adam Aaron and AMC would not have taken that 500 million share dilution off the table if they weren't in a situation where they don't need the shares in the short term, right? They were talking about how it's for the long term. They're thinking 5, 10, 15 years down the road, whatever it might be. So I don't think we're in any sort of situation where he's nervous or the company is nervous about getting rid of their debt. I think they're going to be able to do that very effectively, especially now that AMC Theaters has such a cult following, such a great fan base that will do anything to go out of their way to support the company. And that's absolutely true. I've probably spent $500 or $600 since this whole situation, this whole AMC thing happened at AMC movie theaters on popcorn, movie tickets, Diet Coke, Milk Duds, Reese's, whatever I almost swore, but I'm not going to do that. But that's how they're going to get out of debt, right? It's producing more revenue and then very intelligently using that cash and income to dig themselves out of the hole, right? And down the road, when AMC squeezes, when all is said and done, I do think they're going to offer up that 500 million share authorization again, and I think it'll likely get approved the second time around, right? Everybody's concerns were, why are you asking for this now if this is for 1, 3, 5, 10 years down the road? And they addressed that. They understand that. They took it off the table. And when they bring it back on the table, and I think they likely will eventually, they're going to very intelligently use that stock, whether it be for acquiring other movie theater chains, whether it be for paying off their debts in their rent out locations, right? There's a lot of different ways they can play that out. So that's kind of my 2 cents on how they could get out of debt, but I think that it likely will happen, and I just don't know how long it'll take. Cardano says, Ryan video when? Hold on a sec. So you're talking about an individual who... I'm assuming you're talking about that $800,000 loss video, right? So that individual who suffered those losses, right? We've been talking on and off. I'm not going to disclose any details. I want to keep this person private, but they're in a really tough emotional state. Now, you take a step back and think about this, right? I'm coming at this from a completely unbiased perspective. Imagine that you were that individual who put themselves out there to say, hey, I took an $800,000 loss in options, right? It's very, very difficult for that because this person understands that there's going to be a lot of criticism, right? She's going to face a lot of criticism, and this individual has faced a lot of criticism. So to be completely blunt and honest, the reason that this person hasn't come on yet is because they're in an emotional state where they don't feel comfortable talking about their story. So that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen, right? That's the only reason why it hasn't happened yet. In fact, we do still want to have this conversation in this podcast, which, by the way, is not going to involve any names of this individual or another individual, right? It's just going to be a conversation about risk associated with YouTube and risk associated with options. And it's really that freaking simple. So it will happen. It will come. But that's all I'm going to have to say about that, because I want to respect her opinions. I want to respect her emotions, because this is 100%, her story. It's not mine. It's not mine to tell. So that's my response to that for you. Goddamn Subway. Hey, Trey, the sell limit doesn't matter if the hedge funds don't get margin called, right? Once they get margin called, then the computer will buy all shares that are for sale, right, at any price. So the way that it works with the sell limit is when they need the shares, that is what it is going to end up having. They're going to have to pay, right? So I've seen kind of, two different arguments, pros and cons of setting sell limits. And the pros are that it'll shoot the price up, right? But the cons are that if the majority of people have their sell limits at, let's say $500, and all of a sudden everybody gets sold out of $500, well, then all of a sudden that's going to be the cap. That's going to be the ceiling. So personally, this is what I'm going to do. I plan on, not saying... I'm not going to set a sell limit order. So I'm just going to watch the overall price action and see what I plan on doing there with the price action as it continues to run up. And then as it, makes benchmarks, it goes up to $100, 200, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, whatever it might be. At that point, then I'll start having a conversation about, okay, this is kind of what I'm looking at. This is how far I want to bring this, X, Y, Z. So I personally, this is just my opinion. This is one guy. I'm not setting a sell limit order for the time being. When the time comes, though, we can have that conversation. So Thank you for Jay Revelin. That does mean a lot to me. Appreciate that. What else do we have here? How many Dogecoins have you got? I have $1,000 worth of Doge. I'm down on it right now. Well, actually, what's Doge trading at? I bought it right around 30. Oh. I didn't realize it came back this much. I bought it at 30 cents, so I'm up a little bit. Nothing substantial, but I bought it at about 30 cents with $1,000. And to be honest with you, this is kind of maybe an unpopular opinion, but I think that Dogecoin 5 years from now, people are going to wish they bought it now. Not because it has any sort of substantial value, but because people have sentimental value towards it. And that alone drives the stock price up. So I basically just put $1,000 in this and I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to see what the heck happens with Dogecoin down the road. And I'm just going to see what happens. You never know. It's still trading at freaking 36 cents. The market cap is in the billions, but it very well easily could do, something disgusting. I mean, back when this was trading at less than a penny and all of a sudden it ran up to like a penny or 2 or 3 or 4 cents. People were like, that's it. That's as high as it's going to go. And they left it at that. But I'm just going to see what happens. You never know. What's up? Thank you, man. Appreciate that, 1111. Trey, thank you for giving me the opportunity not to be poor anymore. I haven't done anything, Louis. I haven't done anything. All that I do is present you my opinions, my thoughts on what's happening with the stock price, and the information and data that anybody can research. The way that I, kind of talk about this is that I just get to speak for a lot of apes, and it's a cool thing. It's the combination of a lot of freaking smart people. A lot of people smarter than I am, to be honest. But I just get to tell some stories, which is really cool. All right. Ever been to Canada? I have not. I did live in Minnesota for a pretty long time. I lived in Minnesota from 5 years old until I was 22. And then I moved out to Oklahoma. I'm not going to say where in Oklahoma, but what I will say is Minnesota is cool. It's very cold. That gets old. I don't like being cold. I'm kind of a skinny guy. Not a lot of insulation. But a lot of pretty nice people. I don't mind it. All right. You said before, I gotta scroll back up. You said before your account was liquidated for basically no reason. Can you explain how this happened? Because it's legit keep me up at nights. Yeah, so what happened with my Fidelity account? Right, good question. So this was back, let me find the exact day, actually. I think it would have been the day after the 27th. I think it was the January 28th. So I'll show you the exact price point. It was at 11:24 a.m. Yeah, 28th. So it was right here, 11:24 a.m. The stock had dropped all the way down to about $6.50 or so. Yeah, 51. And I remember that it happened to a crap ton of people because what I did is I tweeted out on Twitter. I was like, my entire Fidelity account, I was holding AMC, Nokia, and BlackBerry, all got liquidated. And I was trading on a 1-to-1 margin account. So it was all settled money, right? It was my money. I wasn't leveraged, so there was no reason for that liquidation. And I tweeted out that, hey, I just got liquidated on Fidelity. This happened to anybody else. And I got dozens and dozens, probably hundreds of people that replied back, I just got liquidated at 11:24 a.m. also in my Fidelity account and other brokerage accounts. So I don't know why it happened. I think maybe it was like a collateral or liquidity issue, and that's what was happening there. But it was freaking scary, man. I mean, that's why I transferred out of Fidelity. I came into Webull because they did, stop trading. They halted trading on the buy side for a couple of hours, but for a very, very, very short period of time. And I think that they go out of their way to make sure that they have no malpractice. Like, I remember seeing an email one time talking about shorting, and they'd ask, hey, why can't I short this stock? And Webull actually responded and said, the reason that you can't short the stock is because we don't support naked shorting. And I think that speaks a lot about the company itself. I think that's a good thing to see. I think that speaks a lot on the fact that they're pretty likely not going to try and screw up any part of our squeeze, So I like Webull. That's why I got out of Fidelity. If you want to check it out, there's a link up there. If not, I don't really care. I'm just chilling. But that's what happened to me, man. Sue, yeah, I've been told by a couple people. It's a lot of money, I've dealt with lawyers and stuff before, and I'd rather just keep the money in my pocket. I've made back the losses. I'm sitting in a pretty good spot right now, so it's not the end of the world. What frustrates me is that could happen to other people. So if that happened to other people who maybe could not, make back those losses, who, like, let's say that this person had $10,000 of AMC, they bought it at $15, $18, whatever it might be, drops all the way down to 6.5, and keep in mind that when it dropped to 6.5, it recovered. It didn't recover immediately, but it did recover, right? So let's say that it drops all the way down to $6.50, and then all of a sudden it's up at 17. You could have broke even or actually made money, back in this day. So what happens to those people who maybe put $10,000 into AMC and it sells off at 650? They get liquidated, and all of a sudden they're out that money, and it's going to take them months or maybe years to make that cash back. That's what's freaking annoying. That those people should sue. I'm in a situation where it's not the end of the world, but that really hurts for other people, man. Like that's what frustrates me. And that's a large part of why I started talking about AMC in the first place, is because a lot of the malpractice that I see happening in the stock market. I mean, like I've talked about, I got into AMC as a swing trade. If you're new to the channel, I always assume that there's at least one new viewer out there. I got into AMC as a swing trade. It would have been like 3 or 4 days before it went up to $25. So let me come back up to this. I got into $4, and I put this in my Discord. I was like, hey, I think this is a pretty good opportunity for a swing trade. GameStop's already run up a pretty crazy amount. It would have been back here. Yeah, so it was at 280, and we got into about $4.50. 2 days later, it ran up to 25. And if I want to just keep making money to keep playing other stocks, there's been stocks that have been running like you wouldn't believe over the last couple of 3-4 months. I would have just kept doing it, right? Because we were making money, we were doing well. But this is an important topic. It's an opportunity for a lot of people to speak up against the man, right? The hedge funds that have stole money from retail investors like you and me. And I didn't want to pass up that opportunity to be a part of something really freaking cool. So, all right. Have you watched the new Demon Slayer movie? If so, how do you like it? I'm actually going to watch it tonight, so I will let you know what I think. I'm planning on watching the new Demon Slayer movie and Mortal Kombat back to back. If anybody's seen the new Mortal Kombat movie, let me know what you think. I've seen some mixed reviews. If you go in expecting a Mortal Kombat movie, I think that you have usually you're going to get your satisfaction met. But if you go into it and you're expecting something with a phenomenal story, maybe that's not Mortal Kombat. You're just there for the good fight scenes, in my personal opinion. Thoughts on the Kramer meltdown? It was pretty fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how to feel about Kramer. I'm not gonna lie. I think Jim Cramer is a TV personality, if that makes sense. Like people enjoy watching his very, very wide swing in moods. Like sometimes I feel like he supports AMC, and then sometimes I feel like he just shits on AMC. And I don't know. It doesn't make sense because it's like random when he decides to do one or the other. So I'm not entirely sure. All right. Mara bull flag. I think that Mara is going to run like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, that's a big freaking bull flag right here. So if you don't know what a bull flag is, it's very freaking simple. This is actually a play that I've been talking about on my Discord. A lot of people have some call options in this. We picked up the call options for June 18th at the $40 strike. And this Mara is very, very volatile. It has some crazy swings. So the $40 strike on these is $5.60. So you can pick up one for $560 as it sits right now. And I think it's going to make you some pretty decent money. But it's got a very, very bullish setup right now. So you're playing an inverse head and shoulder setup. You've got a head, shoulder. This is the neckline. And when it gets a clean break over $37.50 or so, I think the next level you're watching for is a test of $40. And a push over $40, I mean, you're looking at some really solid opportunity for a good rip. And it really, really definitely helps that Ethereum, Bitcoin, Dogecoin are all on an absolute freaking rampage right now. I mean, Ethereum's about to break $3,000. That's disgusting. That makes absolutely no sense. Bitcoin's down a little bit, trading sideways, but Ethereum and Dogecoin definitely having a nice little run. I think that Mara's gonna have a good break. I'm not gonna lie. It's taken a little while. I mean, we started talking about it back here when it was maybe at about $34 or so, and it's still kind of setting itself up, but I think it's coming. I think it's coming for sure. How high do you think AMC stock can reach? I think AMC stock is pretty much unlimited potential. And I don't mean that in a way to dodge giving you a hard price point, but I've seen, the DD, the analysis and the thought process behind a lot of different price targets. I've seen the 2K, the 5K, the 10K, the 50K, the 100K. I've seen them all, right? I've seen all these different freaking, arguments. And the thing is, it's just going to matter when everybody decides to sell, right? So if you have the majority of people that decide to sell at $5,000, that's likely going to be as high as it goes. But if the majority of people decide to sell at, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, it could very well continue to go up. But once the majority of retail investors sell their shares into the market, at that point, you're going to be looking at a pretty steep decline and an opportunity for the stock to really start pulling back. So I'm going to stay neutral in giving you a price target because I don't think anybody can give you a fair analysis. But I will tell you is that this is nowhere near my exit point, my exit profit point. And there's a lot of opportunity still for this to run up, right? And once it gets close to the squeeze, once it gets, close to where I think the peak is, I'm going to be putting out a video that's going to essentially be talking about my exit strategy, what I plan to do to make sure I'm locking in profits and that sort of thing. All right, any suggestions for a weekly play? Got an extra $1,000 and would like to turn some profits to add to my 1,000 shares of AMC, says Jay Revelin. Good question. So I'm a little biased because this is a play that I've been talking about in my Discord for a while, but I really do think the Mara is set up for a really nasty run right now. And I'm going to tell you why, right? So let's just look at this at a technical perspective. There's three things that I look for a good swing trade, right? I like to see a bump in unusual trading volume. Now, what does that mean? That would mean that if you let's look at the daily candles, for instance, right? So the daily candles, if you were to look at these, this trades on average, I'd say somewhere between 12 million and, 20 million shares or so. So if all of a sudden you got a little bump in trading volume, let's say that you saw 20 million, 25, 30 million, right? Something just barely unusual. That's considered an unusual, trading bump, which I like to see, right? So on top of that, let's go look at the 1 month chart. The next thing that I like to see is this 15 MA, the moving average, cross over the 200 EMA, the exponential moving average. And once you get that crossover point, that's usually going to be a catalyst that starts driving in more volume and more momentum to get a stock to run up. And it tested it right here, didn't quite get it, right? You can see that 15 MA had a little bit of resistance at that 200 EMA, started trading sideways, didn't quite want to get that push, rejected, and then it bounced right here off of this level of support where you've got a triple bottom set up at about $34 or so, 1, 2, 3, 4 different touch points, right? And is running back up here again. So once this 15 MA crosses over, I'm anticipating you're going to get a bump in trading volume. You're going to get a break over this $37.70 mark resistance where you've got quite a few different touch points. I always look for at least 3 to signify a respective level of resistance. You've got 1, 2, 3. It can be as both support and resistance, right? So any touch points that they justify that as a respected level. Then you've got consolidation right here. So that's 4, 5, right? 6, 7, 8, 9. So you got a lot of different touch points here, this neckline resistance. So when it gets a break over that, 15 MA crosses over, unusual trading volume, that's 2 of the boxes I like to check. Third one is this, a news catalyst, a sustainable news catalyst. And for Mara specifically, thinking abstractly, right? So this company is a cryptocurrency mining company. So what could be a good news catalyst? And by the way, there's some good ones coming up here for Mara in the next week. But what could be a good one that can sustain the price action on Mara? You already guessed it. It's Bitcoin or cryptocurrency running, right? So Bitcoin is trading sideways right now, but you've got Ethereum, which is on an absolute rampage, and Dogecoin, which is on an absolute rampage as well. So both of these stocks going on good rips is going to be a sustainable news catalyst that can help drive the price action on the stock. So that's my personal opinion. I think that Mara is going to treat you pretty well. But you do you, man. This is just a stock that I'm watching for. It's not a penny stock by any means, but it's very volatile, right? You can see it's been as high as $58.32. I mean, even if you bought in at $37 right now and you sold at, 44, you pick up decent size on that and you're looking at a pretty good modest gain. So that's my personal opinion. I think it's going to give you a good return. I had a girlfriend named Mara. My girlfriend's name is Mavis. My girl Mavis. She'll always treat you good. By the way, Microvision is in an absolute freaking, it's so close to a buy zone. I love, if you can get Microvision in the $12 or $13 range, that is a steal. It's been as low as $10, but what I would do is if you see it hit $13, take starter size. This is just what I would do, right? Take starter size, and then each individual dollar that it drops down, you can pick up some more. So $12, you can pick up more. $11, you can pick up more. $10, you can pick up more. But I think Microvision is still going to print you some good tendies, man. Do we live off Subway? I do. Let me know when you get to Fort Bragg. I'm here and would love to have a beer. I'm actually going to be heading out to North Carolina in the next week. So I plan on leaving next Friday. I'm going to drive out with my computer and bring some of my stuff so that I can move it into my freaking house. And I've got some cool things that I want to do. I want to lay some concrete in the back and set up a nice fire pit and stuff. The backyard needs to get some work done as well. I bought that house back in November, so it was before I even started YouTube. But I bought that house back in November. It's a pretty nice place. I like it, but it could definitely use a couple of things. Like I want to kind of rip up the deck and rebuild the deck. I want to lay some concrete for a nice fire pit. The backyard, the lawn needs some love and some TLC. So I'm probably gonna lay some mulch and get that sucker cooking with Crisco. But it'll be fun. I'll let you know, man. But I'm planning on being out there. Christina, Steezy AF says, Trade, do a stream with Ice Poseidon. I've actually been on a stream with Ice Poseidon. I should do it again, though. He's a good dude. He's turned himself around. I kind of feel bad for the guy because he's in a situation where, you know, his previous history and who he was as a person, people have kind of not let that go. Like, I get it. He said some things and did some things that were controversial, but you can tell that over the last couple of years, he's really rebuilt himself as a person, and I wish him nothing but the best, and it's cool to see him getting into investing. All right, join the Discord. What's your feel on AMC for the week and upcoming month of May? Also, do I still have to use super chats if I'm in the Discord? No, you never have to drop super chats. I'm not asking for that ever. Never, ever, ever. So, but for AMC for the week and upcoming month of May, I don't like giving hard price points, but I think that May, or hard time points, I should say, but I think May and June are pretty likely going to be the 2 months that you should watch for some pretty good heavy price action. And why I said that before was because we had the May 4th vote, but I just drew this up today. Whatever. But anyways, Ortex. So Ortex, if you were to look at this, you've got 100% utilization. It's been there for literally over a week now, which is absolutely absurd. Cost to borrow has been high for a while. The days to cover on the 3-month time scale has been going up. Shares on loan slightly trending down over the last 7 days, but still very significantly high. Free flow on loan high, and the short interest is also high. And it's been there for a good minute, right? This is much, much better levels of short interest than we saw back when it squoze in January, late January. So with this sort of setup, all that it's going to take is a news catalyst, right? So we need momentum. We need the shift, and it's not there yet. I've said this before. I'll say it again. What's missing on AMC stock in order to get this thing to really freaking rip is the volume, right? So we just don't have the volume. You look at this on a daily time frame, and it's just trending, overall in the macroscopic terms down. Over the last, I'd say, couple of days, it's starting to pick up here again a little bit. But once we get back into the 300, the 400 million total volume range, you're gonna be looking pretty freaking decent. So some YouTubers are saying we need low volume to increase days to cover. To increase days to cover, yes, that is true. But to get the squeeze to happen, the volume needs to go up. Because, just majority-wise, there's a lot of shares on the market. There's 450 million shares on the market. So it's going to be very hard to squeeze a decently high float stock without high volume, right? That's just what it's going to take. So, look back to when it went up to, $25. It had 1.2 billion in total volume, and there was 150 million shares at the time. That's what it took to get this thing to really freaking drive up. So it very well could take that much again, in my personal opinion. So that's just what we're missing right now. We're missing the momentum. We're missing the volume. Yakman Pacento. All right, check your P.O. box yet. Congrats on you/Adabit on the doc. Yes, man. Thank you for that. It's very good to have him on board. I'm very excited for that. My P.O. box, I did check it and I didn't see anything there, but I've had some issues. I've had people tell me they sent me stuff and it got returned. So I don't know what the freaking deal is. I think it's just where I'm living right now. So in the future, what I think I'm going to do is when I get out to North Carolina, I'm going to set up a P.O. box out there. And I've got a roommate that I'm living with, and he can help me out, and I'll toss him a couple dollars to help me pick up my mail, and if I get anything cool, it'll just go directly to my house, so that'd be good. All right. Do you have screeners set up to find the swing trades to start the technical analysis? I do use particular screeners. So something that I recently picked up is called Treyders, right? So I look at this to get an idea of overall stock market, sentiment. So this will tell you the hottest sectors, which is really helpful. It'll tell you the overall market momentum, the leader index, and the market direction. And I specifically like to look at the biggest movers. So this tells you the top 25 biggest bullish and bearish movers on the day. It'll tell you the largest block trades being huge one-time volume pushes in overall buying or selling. That'll tell you the most unusual stocks, right? So that's pretty good to know. And sector performance. So what are the hottest sectors? Utilities, real estate, consumer discretionary, and the cold sectors as well. So this is percentage gain or loss. So energy on Friday was down about 2.51%, and that can give you an idea of different directions that you can go. So I like looking at that. You can look at the ticker dashboards as well. So pull up stocks, and it's got a whole bunch of different information for you. So if I was to, search up, let's just say Mara pops up here, and you can get an idea of some different factors. So their market cap doesn't have a P/E ratio or total revenue. I'm just assuming they're not a profitable company right now, but you can look up AMC, and this will probably give you a better idea. Yeah, so here you go. Debt to equity. You've got gross profit, total revenue, PE ratio, market cap, profit margin, right? It tells you a whole bunch of different stats and statistics and stuff that is pretty interesting. So I like using this. That's a pretty good indicator. But otherwise, I just go on Webull and I look at the basically the leading range, the leading volume, and there's one other piece. and turnover, right? So how often the shares trade hands. So I look at these, and if you have a stock that's top of the list for all three of these, or at least in the top 5 on all three of these, that's typically a pretty good opportunity to make a good day trade or swing trade, right? But you definitely don't want to swing trade the stocks that have run up too much too fast. Those are usually pumps and dumps, right? So you cannot take an opportunity for that in the short term and trade it as like a one-time thing. So like a good example of a swing trade for me right now is just Mara. Like I really do think Mara is going to have a pretty good run over the next 1 or 2 weeks. So this is kind of what I'm looking for. Consistency, consistent volume, consistently trending upwards. You've got great technical setups. Like that's the sort of stuff that I like to see. We need a tour of your house, crib style. Thanks for all you do, Trey. Geek Easy, 100%, man. I'll give you guys a tour when I get in there. It's going to be pretty freaking cool. I'm excited. Still waiting on you, brother. At 1K subs already. Would love to have you on my channel. This is all for AMC, nothing else. Big Dog Stocks. Big Dog Stocks. Let me check you out quick. Congrats on 1K, man. That's freaking awesome. That can take a long time to get to. I know how you feel. Big Dog Stocks. 1K. Well, you got 1.08 something more. I'll toss you a follow, my friend. You don't scare me. Ooh, that's a good title. I dig that. Yeah, man. My email is in my about section on YouTube. So if you send me an email, we can chat. I'll toss you my phone number. Share recount, any update? So I haven't heard anything about the share recount. I did email Adam Aaron a couple of times, and I haven't heard anything back in regards to that share recount, but I do have faith that it's happened. I just don't think they've said anything about it yet. So I'm waiting to see what they end up saying, but I think he made it pretty clear that he wants to have another interview down the road. So, back before the interview actually happened, we had about an hour-long phone call, and we talked about some stuff. I'm not going to disclose a lot of it, but one of the topics was, I anticipate that we're going to have more interviews down the road, more conversations down the road, and I look forward to it. So I think that he has some plans of ways to kind of talk about what's going on with the company, what's going on with the share recount, what's going on with future endeavors, and we will bring him on again, and we will have another conversation, another hour to hour and a half long conversation about whatever the apes questions are, right? So once I've got more information on that, I can give you guys some more insight, but you can expect that again down the road, in my personal opinion. You ever received the black tea I sent? Oh, it was you, Addison's Adventures. Hold on, I gotta grab this. This is so freaking cool. Hold on. Check this sucker out. I got this in the mail and I didn't know who it was from. There was no name on the package, but this thing is freaking cool. Check this out. Somebody made this. Gorilla Gang! Gorilla Gang, baby! That is some cool stuff. It's kind of wrinkly because I wore it a couple times, but holy Toledo. That was nice. That was nice. Thank you for that. Hey, good job, Lamp. You held it down. You held it down good. You held it down good. All right. Also, did you read the July 13th DD for when the squeeze should start by? Looks solid. I have not read it yet, but I am going to pull it up and I'll dig through it and see what I think. July 13th, AMC, Reddit. If anybody has a link, let me know. If anybody has a link for that, I'll definitely look into it, but I'm not seeing it right now. What do you recommend us apes do after the squeeze with the profits? Do we hire a tax professional? Do we leave the money in our brokerage app? So it's entirely up to you, man. I'll tell you what I plan on doing, right? So I think there's something important to know. So if the statistics, I don't know the exact numbers, but the majority of people who win the lottery, right? And that's kind of what you're looking at here with the opportunity with AMC is it's like winning the lottery. It's like lifetime, once in a lifetime opportunity to make a substantial amount of money. Is most of those people lose the cash because they don't know how to manage the money, right? So if you're in a situation where you've got a pretty solid, financial background, you know how to manage and budget, you know how to invest very well. In that situation, you could just continue to do what you do, but you're playing with more money, right? That's essentially what it is. But if you're in a situation where you're new to the market, you haven't really invested much before, you're not familiar with taxes, capital gains tax, income tax, all sort of stuff, it's definitely not a bad idea to have a financial advisor, to pay for a financial advisor to manage your taxes, to manage your money, whatever you got to do, right? I'll tell you what I plan on doing. When I make my money, a good portion of that is going to go out to people that I really care about. So like my track team, I plan on building a track for the old program that I used to run at. I plan on giving some money to the ROTC program that I went to back in college. I plan on buying one ape a Tesla. That has already been the plan. So when AMC hits $600, that's the minimum guideline. I will buy one person who is following the channel a Tesla. So that's something that I promised you guys that I'm gonna hold up to. I want to pay off my Uncle Mike's house. I want to buy my mom a new car. And after that, the rest of the money is going to go towards, and myself a Tesla Roadster. That's the only thing that I want. I just want a Tesla Roadster. And the rest is going to go back in the market. So with the rest of my attendees, I plan on, just continuing to invest, continuing to do YouTube, continuing to make money, and we'll all do it, we'll be hanging. We'll be straight up freaking chilling. Glasses. God dang it. I hate those freaking glasses, man. Ah! I always forget. Guys, if you wouldn't mind dropping a like on the video, I'll tell you what, we get this up to 3,000 likes by the end of the video. I'll put back a little bit of that Kraken and give you guys a good cheers and toast, as we always freaking do. Asking for my girlfriend when the OnlyFans coming asking for myself, how much sleep you averaging each night to keep this grind up, says Brad. When's the OnlyFans coming? All right. So Lamps OnlyFans is in the works. One for myself, probably not likely. I promise you guys don't want to see that. I'm just a freaking stick. I've got like 10 chest hairs if you find that kind of thing. that kind of thing nice. But, lamps will be coming. But as for yourself, how much sleep you averaging each night to keep this grind up? So I'm a guy that can run pretty decently on not a lot of sleep. Back when I used to run competitively, I trained in college. My goal was to qualify for the Olympic trials in the marathon. And, my heart issues popped up, so I had to quit. But back when I was training really hard, I would get like 8 or 9 hours a night because I needed it. But now that I'm not exercising because I'm waiting on that heart surgery, I usually get about 3 or 4. 3 or 4 is pretty typical. So I get up in the morning at about 3 to 3:30 or so. I hop on the computer and do some research. Hop on the Discord and talk with some apes. And then I got to check in with my boss at about 6 in the morning. So I leave here at about 5:45, go check in, get back at about 6:30, and then I hop back in the Discord, do some more reading, make some posts, talk with everybody, go on Twitter, whatever it might be. And then I work from 9 to 5. I get back from work, and then I do some reading, dig into the data, dig into the numbers on AMC stock, all the different stocks that we're kind of looking at, and I put out my video for the day, and at that point it's about 7:30, 8:30, depends on how long it takes for the video to render. And then at that point I like to catch up with some friends, some family, so I'll hop on the phone for maybe an hour, catch up with the girl, catch up with my mom, whatever it might be. And then from there, it's probably about 10 or 10:30. I lay down in bed, and typically I'll fall asleep at about 11 or midnight. So, on average, I'd say 3 or 4 hours a night, something like that. Is this the real Trey or the clone? Definitely Patrick, man. This is Patrick. It may be stupid, but it's also dumb. Ah, man. There was no video yesterday. I know. So I had some stuff going on with work that took me a long time to get home from, but I apologize for that. I typically do make a video, but it was a one-time thing. I apologize. What do you think about MVIS? That is a long-term stock to me that I think is going to have a lot of opportunities to make money in the short term, right? So if you're looking at Microvision right now, when stocks run up too much too fast, they typically fall pretty quick. And when stocks pull back too much too fast, they usually make a good bounce. So I think this is a really, really solid opportunity. It could be a solid opportunity for a buy, right? Especially with how much it dropped, right? It went to $31, dropped all the way back down to a low of $12.87, which is an extremely, extremely bad retracement. I mean, you pulled the Fibonacci retracement on this beast, and you look at what the numbers look like on that, that's a 78.6, even farther than that retracement, which is not ideal, obviously. But this is a long-term stock for me. You're in this for an acquisition, right? A buyout. So they produce automotive LiDAR. The whole point of Microvision as a company is to allow autonomous vehicles to drive themselves. So, they've got the LiDAR tech that you basically mount on your vehicle, and it scans. I think they've actually got the leading technology in terms of, comparing to VLDR and all the different LiDAR companies out there. But but this stuff is going to be top of the notch. Like, as long as electric vehicles continue to advance, Tesla continues to advance, Lucid Motors could do this, NIO, Ford's looking at getting into autonomous driving. You've got, I think, Toyota looking to get into autonomous driving. This stock is going to continue to rampage. I think they had in April, it was a private presentation on their automotive LiDAR tech. And you're not going to hear anything about it, right? Because it was a private presentation. But when the news comes out, saying, hey, this is going to get bought out by X company, it'll just be that day. Hey, this is going to get bought out by X company. If you're holding shares in the company, you get paid per $1 billion in acquisition. So let's say that you get paid $7 per $1 billion in acquisition, and it goes for $12 billion. I mean, you almost made $100 a share on Microvision. So really solid opportunity. The cheaper you can buy this stock, the better off you are. So for me personally, right, long-term stock, I like Microvision. If you want to play it short-term, know that there's risk involved with options. There's nothing guaranteed. If you're wrong, you can lose your premium. I really suggest that you understand options before you start playing them. Understand stocks, especially before you start playing options. But if you want to play it short term, what you could do is, have long-term stock that you don't touch and then play options on the short-term moves, right? So for me, for example, back when this was at $10, it was the Monday before it ran up. I was on a live stream and I said, guys, $10 is the floor. If you pick up some $12 or $13 strikes, I think within the next 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to be printing some mad cash, right? So I said, some June calls look pretty good, which I still stand by. I think June calls right now are going to look pretty decent for you. And you can pick up like a $12 or $13 strike. So they're just barely out the money. It costs you a little bit. I mean, $460 for one of the $13 strike call contracts, but and you can make a lot of freaking cash on those. So let's say that, hypothetically speaking, it's trading at $15 right now. Let's say, Monday morning, it drops down to, $13. I think that's a pretty solid opportunity to buy some maybe $14 strikes or like $13 strikes, just barely in the money, just barely out the money. And if it makes another run for $20, I mean, you made some stupid gains. I mean, like 100, 200, 300% returns on whatever you put into it. So that's the way that I would play Microvision in the short term. I personally wouldn't mess with the stock a whole lot in your long-term portfolios. That's just me, because you never know when the buyout's going to happen. So that's my 2 cents on MVIS. All right. Any chart analysis on Funko, Vizio, and or XLM would be appreciated. Hope you're doing well, man. I'll look at XLM for you real quick. It's not popping up, so I'll look at Funko. Funko! That sounds like uncle. I love it. That's good. So Funko, this is actually a pretty clean setup. So I'm going to clear this off and show you what I'm looking at. You've got the 15 EMA that's gapped over the 200 EMA right now. It's trading about lateral with it, which is good. I almost said collateral, but that wouldn't make any sense. It's got an inverse head and shoulders pattern. So you've got a head, shoulder, neckline right here. So if you get a break over the neckline, it should make a pretty decently hard move for a retest of $24. Currently trading at $21.20. Level of support that you're looking at. The thing that's nice about this is that it stair steps very, very cleanly, right? You've got a higher low, 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 and it just continues to run. That is picture perfect setup for a good continuous growth stock. So I think if it ends up retesting support down here at about $20, that's probably the best entry point, but it might not. So if you want to take a stab at, a swing trade or a long-term position in this stock, what you could do is take an opportunity at $21.20. I mean, it's sitting at 45 on the RSI, so pretty neutral. You typically like to buy when it's as close to 30 as possible on the RSI. That's when it's in oversold territory for a swing trade, but you can take a starter size, right? So sitting at 45 on the RSI, just barely, more on the oversold side than the overbought. And then if it does drop down to $20, you can buy on that bounce of $20 for a retest of resistance at that neckline at $21.79. So that's my 2 cents on it. It looks pretty bullish though. I mean, 15 MA gapped way over. Volume is kind of inconsistent, which I don't necessarily like. It's got some days where it has random huge spikes. But otherwise, maybe it is consistent, but they're just huge spikes. So, I mean, if you hit one of those random days where it has a nasty move like this, I mean, from $19 up to 25, I'd take the profits on it, because when something moves that much, that quick, the volume jumps that fast, it's not sustainable. So I just watch for that. That's kind of what I'm looking at right here on the charts. Stop buying. Oh, I gotta go back up. Stop. Where was that? Citadel. That's good. Oh man, Citadels. That's the dumbest. That's so stupid. Citadel says, stop buying AMC and GameStop. We are watching you, Trey. Oh, I'm scared. Oh man. Oh, the hedgies are watching. Oh, that's good. I don't know who you are, man, but that made me laugh. That made me laugh pretty good. Can you explain how to use the stock bot and how it works on your Discord? Yes, I sure can, Jeff. So let me get this pulled up here really quick. Let's see what I can find. Stock bot. All right, let me pull this up. So right here, AI stock bot. So on my Discord, it's $5 a month if you want to check it out. If not, I don't really care. But we have something called a stock bot. So me and the team with the Discord budget pay about $300 a month to have this AI stock bot. And it gives you different insider trading option sweeps, bullseye options, block trades, analyst upgrades, important news in a very, very, very quick time manner. So since I'm not always in the Discord, right, I work a 9-to-5 job. I give you guys, opportunities for different swing trades that I think are solid right now. Since I'm not always there, we added this as an opportunity for people to check out some different trades that could make a good move, right? So bullseye options, for instance, this will tell you based on algorithms, based on coding, what a good options play would look like. So for example here, funny because I've been bullish on Clove for who knows how long now. They're saying Clove is a good options play at a $10 strike, and it should pan out within 1 to 2 days. The AI confidence is 51.2%, so not super high, but that's options in general. They're a little. If you get something over 50% on an option, you're doing pretty good. But this one's like 65%. It'll tell you that. It'll tell you the open interest. It'll tell you the ask, the bid ask average. The premium spent, it'll tell you the call or a put, buy or sell, and then what you should pay for it. So the ask, right, 1.1. So it's pretty good. I honestly like it a lot. That's a good opportunity. You've got insider trading. So this will tell you when there's some either big buys or sells from insiders. It'll tell you analyst upgrades on stocks, right? It's just a good way to get fast moving information in a centralized location, which is cool. All right. Melvin Capital. James Hill. Trey, I love the tech analysis videos. What parameters do you use when using a stock screener to narrow down the stocks you want to look into? Thanks. So for a swing trade, it's different than for a day trade. For a day trade, you're just looking for the leading gapper. You're looking for insane amount of volume. You're looking for insane amount of volatility, and you're looking for a good amount of range as well. So if you're using Webull, volume, turnover, range, it'll tell you that a stock, like turnover tells you that a stock is easy to trade hands. Range will tell you that it's very volatile. Volume will tell you that it's being very heavily traded, right? So for a day trade, I look for that. For a swing trade, I look for 3 boxes. I look for a sustainable news catalyst. I look for unusual bump in trading volume, somewhere between 1.5x to 2x from the previous day. And if I catch it 1 or 2 days after that, I'll usually take a stab at it. And I'm looking for the 15 moving average to gap up over the 200 exponential moving average. Those 3 things are typically what I look for a good swing trade opportunity. Now, finding those swing trades, I don't necessarily use a gapper. I more use gappers for day trades. But the swing trades themselves more come from word of mouth, right? So what's being heavily talked about? What are people talking about in Discords? What are people talking about on Reddit? What's trending on stock twits? And then through that, if I look through 20, 30, 40 different stocks, you can kind of, find the ones that have a good setup and that you like the fundamentals of. You think the news catalyst is sustainable. That's kind of what I look for a good swing trade. If I'm not mistaken, you are currently in Texas, correct? If so, I'd love to grab a beer with you sometime. I'm near Dallas. No, I am actually not in Texas. I am living in Oklahoma right now, but I'm very close to Texas. I'm like an hour drive away. I think I'm like 4 hours away from Dallas, but I'd be willing to drive out sometime. For sure, that'd be cool. What is your fastest marathon, half marathon time? And 2, are you bullish on me beating my PB of 3:28 next Sunday's marathon? Kelly, let's go. Freaking ape action right there. That's money. So my fastest marathon and half marathon time. My fastest half marathon was 1:07:20. So what does that come out to per mile? Let me think. I think it was like 5:10 or just a hair slower than that. Let me look it up. But it was like 1:07:20. Pace calculator. So 1:07:20 was my fastest half marathon. Zero 1 07 20 and where do I enter the time? Oh, here it is. That doesn't sound right. Oh, that's per kilometer. Okay. Base converter, finish time. Am I not reading this right? Pace? I want to see the pace. Okay, here it is. 5 minutes and 8 seconds per mile. So that's what it comes out to. That was my fastest half. And then my fastest 20 miler I ever ran, I averaged 5:39 for a training run. And then for my fastest marathon, about 2:25. So those were my best times. I was not a good miler. My best miler was like 4:24. Best 2 mile was 9:18. Best 5K was 14:52. 10K was 30:50. Best 10 mile was 50:40. I think my best race I ever had was my 10 mile in 50:40. That came out to like 5:05 or 5:06 per mile. I think that's probably the best run I ever had. And I'm super bullish on you being your marathon PR, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Sundial, what do you think? I think Sundial is a good opportunity for taking advantage of momentum swings because it is a very volatile stock and it has hard moves, but I wouldn't take a stab at it yet. It had a really, really crazy run up to $4.87. Ever since then, it's just kind of been on a slow decline. I would wait for that 15 EMA to start hooking back up towards that 200 EMA. It's been trading underneath that since literally back in March. So I just wouldn't touch it yet. I don't think it's set up. I think if you want to day trade it, there's opportunities for some small gains like 5-10% or whatever, but I wouldn't touch it yet. I think there's some time left. Yeah. MK was nostalgic, but story was eh. Yeah, that's about what I've heard. It's got good fight scenes, but the story is eh. If you come into it just expecting a Mortal Kombat movie, you probably wouldn't get let down. Mike is asking if I got paid. I have not got paid yet. Man, I don't know why. I'll show you guys really quick. Google AdSense. So let me pop in here. Unless it's changed in the last day. Let me make sure that I'm not showing you guys my sign and stuff. All right. Yeah, so my current Google AdSense account has $0 in it. So I cannot make any purchases yet, right? So I just haven't gotten paid. I'm waiting on it. So once that's in there, I'll let you guys know, but I just haven't got anything from YouTube. Once that comes in, I'm planning on dropping, like I said, 35K on AMC, and I'm gonna make a video when I do it. I don't know if I'll do it during my lunch break, if I'm gonna do it in the pre-market, but you guys will watch me make that purchase. I'm very excited. It should be fun. Thoughts on Bill Maher's kind of aggressive take on cryptocurrency from last night? Appreciate your opinions. Bill Maher's. I don't think I saw it. Launched an attack on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Supporters are not happy about it. Pretty unpopular opinion. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think that's a valid. I mean, I'd have to listen to his points, but I'm bullish on cryptocurrency. I mean, this is the only thing that I need to know about crypto, right? The American dollar goes down in value every single year with inflation. Cryptocurrency improves in value, appreciates in value every single year. I don't know if Bitcoin is going to maintain the same sort of growth rate that it's had over the last 5-10 years. I think Ethereum is probably going to have a faster overall growth, but I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. I'm not. I think it's an unpopular opinion for sure. Trey, last week I asked on cutting my 50% OCG loss and tossing the cash in MVIS. You thought it was a good idea, and I ended up making 150%. Thanks. Oh, new guy. There you go, man. I'm glad you made some cash. I'm all here for it. Is Subway going to sponsor your OnlyFans? Oh, that would be a goddamn dream. That'd be a dream. I am not sponsored by Subway, I'll tell you what, but I do like Subway. I eat it every single day. Every freaking day. Hey, Trey, what do you think of the new UFC EDR stock? I haven't seen it, but I'll check it out. Holy, that's disgusting. You can't even do technical analysis on this. That's filthy, man. Wow. Okay. I see you. I mean, the financials look really good. Income statements are pretty sexy. It increases in total revenue year over year over year. $1.04 billion in 2019. I'd be interested to see their 2020. And their gross profit, $525 million. They keep over half of that, which is really good profit margins for sure. How are their cash and cash equivalents? $830 million of cash. Total assets, they've got $10 billion. Wow. And liabilities, $7 billion. So they're net positive. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with the company. They look pretty good. I don't mind that. Okay. Kramer is mad because we called him fat. I love it. That's yeah, no comment. No comment. I bought AMC 11.5 call expiration 514 and 92 cents, down to 44 cents at the moment. Would you hodl or dump for the loss come Monday? So Hugh, the thing about AMC is that it's so heavily shorted and so volatile. Like, it's just unpredictable in the sense that we just don't know when those are going to run. So my 2 cents with AMC call options has been that if you're going to play calls on AMC, please, this is not advice, obviously, but me personally, I give them runway, right? I want a lot of time. I want a lot of expiration. I want a lot of leeway for the ups and downs, the swings, because it's just unpredictable. There's no way to know, because, I mean, you can have a great setup. I mean, it tested $14.87 back here, and it rejected hard, and it dropped all the way down to $9. I mean, we just don't know if that sort of thing is going to happen. The swings on this, with how heavily shorted it is tough. So personally, what I would do if this was me, right, is I could be wrong, right? What happens if this ends up running, sometime this next week and you lose out? There's no way to know. But what I would do is I would take the capital you have, if this was my money, right, and I would put it into later expirations, because that gives you more leeway. You do end up paying more per contract, right? The premium is heavier, but you give yourself more of an opportunity for that to actually come in the money, especially because, AMC stock, the volume is so erratic. There's not a lot of consistency with how much it runs and when it's going to run. It's just random, right? We don't know when that's sort of thing's going to happen. So I wish I had a good answer for you, but it's entirely up to you, man. That's just what I would do. James says, I got a notification Monday or Tuesday through Webull about a large amount of puts at 1050, bought all at once when we were at 12. Coincidence? Probably not, man. I think that hedge funds and institutions are playing very heavy on the put side. I think this is a way for them to hide some liquidity. But the good news is, if they're wrong on puts, they lose their premium, just like we lose our premium if we're wrong on our calls. So if they're wrong on their puts, I mean, they just lose that cash, and that's just burning. They're just printing money straight into a freaking blender. You love to see it. That is what you call a dead cat, is a put on AMC. That ain't the move. Holy Toledo, essential hard worker. What a freaking dude. You don't have to do that. You didn't have to do that. I think Adam Aaron moved the earnings forward because he now knows the share recount will be able to report and expose all shorts, naked shorts, synthetics to trigger squeeze, especially since there's a closed door SEC, Gensler, and the reasons listed on topics. I think you're 100% right. I think that earnings call is going to have some really freaking interesting stuff that is going to get talked about. I'm very excited to hear it. I think they have done a share recount. I mean, I don't think that a company can just say they're going to do something and then not do it, especially if they state it publicly, I mean, I think that they said they're going to do a share recount in a proxy statement. So, they had to have done it, but we just haven't heard anything, which leads me to believe that they're waiting to tell people about what happened with the share recount. I mean, it might be coincidence. It might not be coincidence, but why would they take that 500 million share authorization off the table, and at the same time we haven't heard about the share recount? Maybe they just found out that the float is actually 2 or 3 times as high as it's supposed to be, and they're like, yeah, you know what, this is probably the only reason the stock is actually this low. I mean, we don't know, but I think you're totally spot on, essential hard worker, and seriously, you're a freaking go. Drop some gorillas in the chat for essential hard worker. I appreciate that, man. You're the dude. Grace says, hi Trey, are you aware that the max order you can put in Webull is 3 million? So let's say that my sell price is 10K, then I can only put one order of 300 shares at a time. Webull said they are not increasing the 3 million max amount. Do you think this will be a problem? What it'll mean, in my personal opinion, is that you'll just have to sell in increments, right? So if you're making a sell or a buy, you can only make buy or sell orders in $3 million increments, right? So I think the big issue is going to be size, right? So this is something that I think a lot of people aren't really talking about or thinking about, but let's say, AMC hits $100,000 a share, right? So the majority of those purchases are going to be made by institutions and by hedge funds. But what about retail investors, and what about institutions that are trying to get in long for, the actual price action? Like, hey, there's money to be made here. Let me buy into that. So if you can only buy one share at $100,000, but the majority of people are holding thousands of shares, the tough part is going to be getting rid of your shares. I mean, think about that. So true, it's entirely true. We own the majority of the float, and hedge funds are going to have to pay us exactly, what we ask for. That's 100%. That's the whole reasoning behind $100,000, share price. That's why people think it can happen, and I totally see the possibility of it, But the size is going to be very tough. I think it's going to be hard to fill the majority of your actual shares all in one go. So that's why my personal plan is to sell on the way down, right? So to make little sells on the way down as it's making its drop, right? So maybe 2 days into a downward trend, maybe it hit 100K and now it's at 95, now it's at 90, now it's at 85. Each day it drops 5,000. At that point, I'll start to slowly take my size down as it's on its slow move downwards. That's my personal plan, but there's a million ways to do this for sure. Hey Trey, what DJ you expect happening for AMC this week, and what will it take to break out from this 10 to 11 range with a new support line? Thanks. What it'll take, I think it's going to take a couple of days. It's either going to be a news catalyst, right? So some news catalyst that's strong enough to override the overall downtrend in price action. Because to be blunt, I'm just going to tell you how it is. The 15 MA just crossed underneath the 200 EMA. The volume is decreasing every single day over the last 4 days. So in the very, very short term, it's not a super bullish look, right? It's been selling off, obviously. Like we can see that. So it looks like it's starting to bottom out, which is good. And you can see that we have a level of support with a triple top setup right here. 1, 2, 3 at about 974. Do I know if it's going to hit 974? I don't. You know, nobody can tell you that. But we did anticipate that this is possible, right? So in one of my previous videos last week, I said, don't be surprised if you see this reject and sell off. And it did end up doing that, right? So since we know what's going to happen, you can take advantage of those days when it is a little bit red, make some bigger buys. I mean, honestly, I hope that this stays at $10 for another couple days so that I can hopefully get paid by Google AdSense and dump, you know, a good 30 to 40K into AMC, and we can take advantage of these days. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for, is a bounce off of this level of support at about 975 or so, because we do have that triple top setup right there. Nice to see you again, my dude, says George. Looking forward to your stream in your new home. Could I get your thoughts on WPG? Want to see how bad my TA is? Your TA is probably not bad, man. I mean, it really isn't. You just got to trust your gut. But I'll check it out for you, man. And I'm excited to go to the new home for sure. So WPG obviously sold off very, very hard from $16.54. If you look at the very, very short term, the 15 MA is starting to hook back in towards that 200 MA, which is a good look. It's riding an ascending level of support, which is always good as well. It's got nice consistent volume, and honestly, you're getting a little bit of an unusual bump in trading volume, right? So let's look at this on the daily candles. This looks like it could be an opportunity for a swing trade. So typically you'd see about 1 million, 930,000, right? So pretty low volume. And all of a sudden you get this bump up to the 3 million, 2.6, 1.8, right? 1.3. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to buy it and the next day it's going to be green, but what I am saying is that it does look like an opportunity for a potential swing trade. So what I would watch for is a break over about 285, because you've got a touch point back here at 285. Let me just level this off really quick. 285. Yeah, so you got a touch point right here, consolidation, touch point right here, right? So if it gets a break over this, it could take a week to do it. I don't know how long it's going to take. It's definitely growing at a pretty slow rate. But if it gets a break over that, that's an opportunity. Just keep in mind that the overall macroscopic trend is bearish, right? It's following a very distinct pattern of stair-stepping lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So if it continues that trend, right, it could take some work. What we do have going for it, however, is that it has consolidated for a good amount of time. So overall, it is bearish. I'm going to be honest with you, but it does look like it's got potential. It has potential to get back into some bullish territory. In reference to exit strategy, in terms of capital gains tax, is this tax a concrete percentage across the board, or does it vary from person to person? It varies depending on how much you make, right? So if you make, I think it's over $1 million as of now, unless, you know, Joe Biden's new tax plan goes into effect. As it sits right now, it's 37%. So you'd get taxed 37% on your entire gain. So if you made $1 million, you would get to keep 630,000 of it. That'd be your money, and then the rest goes to Uncle Sam. But if Joe Biden's new tax plan goes into effect, it'd be 43%, which means if you made $1 million, you'd be keeping about 570,000. Yeah. Thoughts on FAMI? Ooh. Why did it sell off like that? That's brutal. Holy Toledo. It bounced pretty hard, but geez, bad gap down. I mean, I don't know what the news is on this. No news. Not that I'm seeing. $42 million capital raise? That could be it. Yeah, I'm assuming this is it. So it's probably that capital raise. So they raised money at 30 cents and it tanked off hard. But I like seeing offerings, to be honest with you. I think offerings are a really good opportunity to buy stocks for really cheap. So you can take a stab at it. Just know that there's risk involved with a drop that heavy. And that's a big, big freaking gap to fill. What's nice to see is the volume has picked up. People have paid attention to that. They think it's an opportunity. I mean, because look at the daily volume on this before that. Right? Daily volume was insignificant. It was nothing. There was no volume. And now all of a sudden it's getting 340 million, 260 million, right? An absurd amount of volume. So it was very, very easily could have a nice little move. I think there's opportunities here. You look at the overall price action. It spent the majority of the day on Friday trading over the volume weighted average price. spent the entire day on Thursday trading over the volume weighted average price, there's definitely an opportunity here. I think it could very easily run. I mean, if you bought in at freaking 30 cents, you would have made a good chunk of cash. But this is a penny stock to a T. So if you buy this, there's risk involved. What do I think is a good opportunity for an entry point? It's riding a pretty much picture perfect ascending level of support over the last 2 days, right? You've got 1, 2, almost 3 different touch points. So if you were to get in, at this ascending level of support and it continues to respect that, 43 cents would treat you pretty well. I would have a stop loss set for probably 3 or 4%, so you can take a re-entry point on the stock. That's just what I would do. All right. Please do an update video on Sens when you can. Sounds good, Pop Squash. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. I'm thinking about making a Microvision and a Sensonics video this weekend. The problem is, and I run into this, and you guys let me know what you think, but when I make other videos that aren't about AMC, I usually get people that get frustrated because I'm making videos that aren't about AMC. So if you guys want to see videos about other stocks, you can let me know. It doesn't mean I'm cheating on our girl Amy, but it does mean I'm just trying to, put out other stuff that people want to see. So you guys let me know. Everyone's asking how Trey's doing, but no one asks how Lamp's doing. Lamp, how you doing, baby? I love that. Oh, good old Lamp. Hey, drop a freaking gorilla in the chat for Lamp. Lamp will take you there. Thoughts on Safe Moon? I've seen some mixed opinions. So from what I've read about Safe Moon, some people are saying this is a, kind of a pump and dump scheme. They say that it's a scam. You guys let me know. I don't know the concrete details about Safe Moon, but it sounds like once you deposit your money to withdraw your money, you get penalized. I don't know if I like that. I mean, it does incentivize people to hold, but then when people do end up pulling out, it can really pull the stock price back hard, heavy, which sounds a lot like a pump and dump scheme. So I don't know. I personally haven't touched it yet, but if you're making money on it, you're making money on it. That's what matters. Trey, you're too effing smart to only do AMC videos. I appreciate that, man. Honestly, I like talking about other stocks. I mean, there's a lot of other stocks that I like talking about that are good companies. Morgan says Sensonics is garbage. So Sensonics is a long-term stock. It's not a short-term stock. So if you sold out of Sensonics at a loss, that's not on me. I've always pitched this off as a long-term investment. And it still is. You're waiting on news. You're waiting on the 100-day continuous glucose monitoring system to get, FDA approval so that it can be commercialized in the United States. And once that happens, it's a superior product to Dexcom. It's just that simple. It just hasn't done what it's got to do yet. Things take time to develop. That's all that it is. Man, Dexcom's selling off hard. Holy crap. Must have had a pretty bad hit piece. If GME max is 500, why is people pumping AMC to hit 5,000? So I don't think the GameStop's max is $500. That's just what it capped out at in the short term, right? Wow, look at that strength. That is some really crazy consolidation right there. GameStop looks really good right now. $172 level of support, 1, 2, 3, 4, quadruple top setup right there. That's a pretty strong support line. But nonetheless, I don't think that's the max. I think GameStop could very, very easily squeeze up higher than $500. What do I think about OCGN? I think this is one of the very rare opportunities for vaccine plays. I think this is probably one of the last vaccine plays that is really going to run. And it is just now breaking a really, really nice bull flag setup. I mean, that is a disgusting, filthy, big, fat bull flag right there. That's ridiculous. That is a stupid bull flag. So you've got an ascending level of support, descending level of resistance, and it broke this with a wide range candle bar on a 1 hour, 2 hour candle, right? And if it gets this break over, 1308, it should run like you would not believe. I mean, that's a disgusting. I mean, this is a picture perfect setup for something bullish. I mean, it does not get any more bullish than this sort of bull flag setup. That looks good. M Scoots. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. Glasses. God dang it. Yo, Treyders. I know we can't define hard dates, but do you think we'll squeeze soon? 2022, next week, etc. Honest opinion, you sweet piece of... You silly chicken. I love that. When do we squeeze, right? So I don't like giving out hard dates. You're right. But I think hedge funds... When is this going to end? It's going to be when hedge funds are down to their last drop of blood, right? So people are the same across the board. We all think of hedge funds and institutions as being people who maybe have more, more information than us and maybe smarter than us, who have more opportunities than us. But what they don't have that is different from us, they've got the same emotions, right? We're all fueled by the same thing. It's all greed and fear. They're being greedy, they're being prideful, they've got the fear, right? And they're going to play those emotions to the very end, in my personal opinion. I mean, I've seen that Melvin Capital has taken some significant losses, and it cannot be by accident. It cannot be. I mean, it's got to be because of AMC and GameStop. I don't see any other way, So I think they're going to play this until their last freaking drop of cash, and once they're out, once they have no more money to play with to manipulate the stock, at that point, it's game. It's freaking game. So it's just a matter of when. And nobody knows the answer to that, unfortunately. But you'll know when the squeeze is going to happen, because you're going to see hedge funds start getting liquidated. I said that probably about a month ago. Uranium Potato helped me put together some really good DD, but I think that's the sign. I think once you see hedge funds getting liquidated left and right, the stock market, the blue chip stocks like we saw back in January, pull back hard. Small caps that don't have short interest, pull back hard. And the meme stocks, everything with a high short interest starts squeezing. It'll do the same thing. You'll have like 5 to 10 stocks and make moves all at the same time. And when you see that happen, it's game. It's freaking game. Ah, yes. Yo, Trey, check out the anime Summer Wars sometime. Hold on a sec. Let me pull this up. Summer Wars. Let me log into my Crunchyroll quick. Summer Wars. It's not on Crunchyroll. Oh, here it is. Summer Wars is a 2009 anime science fiction film. The film focuses on a timid 11th grade math genius who has been falsely implicated in the hacking of a virtual world. Interesting. Yeah, man, I've got it pulled up. I've got it queued up on my Crunchyroll. Check it out, brother. Appreciate that, Mitch. Thank you. Do you think it's a good idea to transfer out of Robinhood to Fidelity? So, unfortunately, there's never going to be a good time to transfer out of Robinhood, right? It's entirely going to be dependent on... because we don't know when it's going to squeeze. That's the problem, is we don't know when it's going to squeeze, and it could take a couple of days to a couple of weeks for your money to actually make that transfer out to that other brokerage firm. So personally, if it was me, this is what I would do. Like, obviously, it's a risk. There's a lot we don't know about how long this is going to take. But what I would do personally is I would transfer. I just don't like Robinhood as a brokerage. They've proven before that they can't really be trusted. I mean, they halted trading on Doge even after what happened with AMC. So that's just like 2 strikes for me, man. I just don't like them. I don't like them. I think it's a risk for sure. Please go over HCMC. May 3rd, the community is asking everyone to purchase at least 100 a share. May 3rd is also the date of the judge's response to Philip Morris's motion to dismiss. Thoughts? Well, I'm not going to condone mass buying. That is collusion and that is illegal. But what I will tell you is that I think HCMC could take a very long time for that Philip Morris lawsuit to come to fruition. I think once it comes to fruition, if and when they win that lawsuit, which I think they will, likely, you will see a substantial amount of growth in HCMC stock. You cannot purchase this on Webull. This is an OTC market stock, and it's trading for less than a penny, but it is back on the upswing again. And May 3rd is on Monday, so it very, very easily could have a nice run. And I'm assuming that's why this is starting to get some nice bullish action again. So I think HCMC's got a good amount of potential to make a dirty run. I mean, it was up 37% on Friday, and I think it could very, very, very likely continue that trend. Just know that this is the literal definition of risk. This is a company that is trading at less than a cent, less than a freaking hundredth of a cent. So if you put money into this, be willing to lose whatever you invest into this. I really, really do mean that, because there's associated risk involved. The company itself, right, they make smokeless tobacco products, and they've got kind of a health and wellness sort of side business as well, back and forth. And they've got this lawsuit open with Philip Morris for patent infringement on their IQOS smokeless tobacco product system, right? So if they end up winning that patent lawsuit, they'll make a substantial amount of money. I mean, pretty decent freaking amount of money. And that's going to affect the stock price a lot, because, I mean, their income is not that high. I mean, to be blunt, your annual income, you're looking at their income statements. They made $13 million in total revenue in 2020. They kept about 5.78 million of that. And the lawsuit, if I remember correctly, let me just look at this. HCMC, Philip Morris lawsuit. They claimed that Philip Morris had $3 billion invested in their smokeless tobacco products that infringed upon HCMC's patent, right? So I don't know if they're going to get every single dollar of that, but even if they get 10%, right, $300 million, 10% compared to the total revenue of $13.92 million is absurd. I mean, that's like a 30x. That's 30 times their total revenue in 2020, which should significantly give them an opportunity to rebrand the company as well as, continue to grow down the road. And the stock price, in the short term, the stock price will be absurd for sure. YOLO FOMO says, Trey, do you smoke weed? I do not smoke weed. I am in the military. Should not have said that. I have a government job, and you are not allowed to do that. Oh, I really hope people aren't watching that. Anyways, back to it. Can you check InfoBird on Ortex and give us your thoughts on it? InfoBird. God dang it. So InfoBird on Ortex. Not a lot of data available from the looks of it, but it's got 31.4 thousand total shares on loan. Utilization unavailable. Cost to borrow is very freaking high. So I'm assuming there's a huge amount of associated risk with holding a position in this stock. What is it trading at? $4? So if they've got 31,000 total shares on loan, that's less than 1%. Why is the cost to borrow so high? InfoBird. I hear nothing. I love it. You guys rock. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I shouldn't have said anything. That's not good. If I hop off the live stream, you'll know why. Oh, yes. Christian says, bro, you should fight Godpill, kind of like KSI versus LP. Have it play live in AMC theaters like boxing does. LOL, got my money on you. I don't know who that is. Who's Godpill? What do you think is happening with HCMC? Thanks, buddy. HCMC. So I just went over that. Hopefully you're able to catch that whole spiel, but I think that it's got opportunity. It could take a long time, and there's risk involved because one, it's an OTC market stock, and two, if they don't win that lawsuit, you're looking at a complete plummet in price because that's exactly why people are getting into this stock. If whales and institutional investors hold AMC have paper hands during the squeeze, how will that affect the squeeze potential? Visit Charlotte, North Carolina. I'll definitely be visiting Charlotte, North Carolina because I'm going to be living in North Carolina and very close to there for that matter. But if whales and institutional investors hold AMC have paper hands, how will that affect it? They don't hold the majority of the stock, right? They hold, I'd say like 15%, 20%, something like that at the most. I mean, I think that apes hold literally like 80% to 85% of the stock, which is freaking solid. So, I mean, they're not going to control the majority of the price action. We do. So I'm not worried about it, to be honest. When AMC squeezes and the call you to the Senate to discuss why you like the stock like DFV, what style runner shorts and tank top will you wear? I probably, oh man. I mean, I think I'll likely wear my my Starry Night running shorts. I like my Vegeta tank top. I'll make sure I'm wearing my Majin Vegeta hat. I'm wearing my Pikachu hat right now. I'm kind of a Pokemon fan. I'm just a weeb, man. I mean, it's that simple. It's that simple. But I'll come out swagged up for sure. For sure. Hey Trey, can you say Inshallah AMC will squeeze? God willing. Okay, yeah. Inshallah AMC will squeeze. Inshallah means God willing. Love from the UK. You're going to make dreams come true. I'm not doing anything, man. You guys are individually, we're just an awesome freaking community that likes a stock. That's as simple as it is. That's as simple as it is, man. You look great in pink, by the way. That's totally your color. Let's go. I love it. Lamp approves too. Lamp approves too. Thank you, Lamp. Thank you, Lamp. Flamingo shorts. I've got those too. I haven't worn them in a minute. Should I put on the flamingo shorts? Should I go get them? Should I go change quick? I'm wearing khakis right now. But I'm not against it. Thought we were going to have to say this. Say it with me. Oh, no. Chef Pew Pew. When I sit at my desk, the glasses stay on. Love you and your energy. Thank you, man. I just don't like my glasses, man. They're uncomfortable. They press against my ears. They look goofy, but that's all right. Life goes on. What are your thoughts on this Reddit DD? Let me pull it up quick. Why I believe AMC can reach 100K. All right. TLDR, AMC has been shorted 249% using available data. Hedges need to buy the float twice or more before they start to close short positions. Paper hands and bears will fall during the test launch, leaving only diamond hand gorillas on the actual rocket. We understand that 217 million shares are owned by insiders, but wait a minute, does that number seem a little too high to you? If the float of AMC is known to be 417 million using quick math, shows us 20.9% of the float is 87 million. Huh. Well, wait. I don't know if that's completely accurate, though. Because the float is what retail investors hold, right? The shares outstanding is what everything combined after institutions and insiders have their cut. So, but regardless, I mean, the number's still skewed, but it's not completely accurate in my opinion. But still, it's still a valid point, right? It's still a valid point. It's just a minor detail. So it appears other than retail claim to own substantially more than 20% of the float. So my question now is, what is 217 million 20% of? Thankfully, someone smarter than myself has made a calculator online that can work that out for us. That is 20% of 1.03 billion or 1,039 million shares. Interesting. I mean, I've said this myself. I mean, I 100% factually believe, and like, this is just obviously speculation, but I don't see any possible way that it could happen otherwise. I believe how can this happen? 1.2 billion in volume on January 27th? Come on. That's absolute shit. There's no way you could have 1.2 billion in total volume off of 150 million share flow, because that's what we had back then. The only way that's possible, because think about that. That would have to circulate 3, 6, 9, 12. That would have had to circulate freaking 8.5 times over. You'd have to have the whole free float circulate 8 times. That's nuts. That makes no sense. So the only way I think 1.2 billion shares could have traded that day is if there's more shares that are actually circulating in the market than should exist. And there's a million ways that we could have seen that happen, right? Failure to delivers from options contracts, right? That's a single example. You could have IOUs circulating all over the market. And then you could have hedge funds that are naked shorting the stock, and we end up buying the naked short positions. So likely a lot of us are holding fake shares, synthetic shares, IOUs, right? A lot of us probably don't even hold real shares. So like, the fact that we saw 1.2 billion of volume back here when there's 150 million shares outstanding. Now think about now. We've got 450 million shares. There's probably, when this squeezes, you'll probably see freaking 2 billion of volume. I wouldn't be surprised. At all. I think the math, I mean, I don't know if that's the exact number, that maybe it is, maybe it's not. Like, I don't like giving hard numbers by any means, but what I will say is that I don't think 450 million shares is all that's circulating in the market. I think it's higher, and I will come back to this every single time, because this is the only point that I'd ever, like, how can you argue with this? How can a single person ever say you would see the whole float of a stock circulate 8 times over in a single day? I mean, let's just look at Apple, right? Apple, very heavily traded stock. It gets a lot of volume on a very consistent daily basis. Look at this. It sees 114 million of volume right here. But how many shares are outstanding, right? We'll go free flow. We'll go the low end. 17 billion. 17 billion shares, and you get 121 million, right? Let's look at a heavy pump stock, right? What's a good example? Something that ran up a pretty decent amount. Let's just look at the actives. So I think TCAT had a pretty decent run. RHE. So this is leader in both turnover and range. RHE was up 15. So look at this. 36 million in total volume. Their free float. Oh, that's disgusting. So like, look at this too, right? This is another example in my opinion. How would you have the entire float of a stock circulate that many freaking times? I mean, I don't know the exact numbers of this. You'd have to look it up on Ortex and, Fintel, see the total institutional investors that hold stock, retail investors that hold stock. But like, this kind of thing is absurd. Like, that just makes no sense. How could you have the entire float of a stock trade hands 36 times over or 8.5 times over? Like, it's just nuts. That makes no sense. I'm just trying to get my, I like this pancake. That's good. Rob's FinTech says, Trey, thank you for being an inspiration to all of us. I started my YouTube channel. Also, when will lamp versus chair fight? Oh, it's a good question, man. It's a good question. So my YouTube channel, I'm glad I could do that for you. I don't think I'm an inspiration by any means. I think I'm just a regular dude, but I'm happy that you started up yours. Lamp and chair will fight very soon. We're gonna get him a good cage match. Can you draw TA on AMC daily? Oh yeah, on the daily chart for sure. I can do that. On the daily charts, it looks very good. Daily candles, I mean, it's riding a sexy ascending level of support. I mean, this is dirty. That's picture perfect. You can't ask for more than that. So I think within, this is mid-May. So mid-May, if it doesn't get a hard break over this level of support, which I think it will, that's a good squeeze up in price action. And at that point, I think you're going to be looking at a hard break of 14.5 bucks. I mean, it's just a matter of time. This is a loading spring, my friends. This is forming a disgusting, huge pennant. I mean, look at this. Runs up, runs down, runs up, runs down, runs up, runs down. I think it's going to keep doing this until it squeezes. I genuinely do. Yes, sir. Thank you to George. I appreciate that. Thank you to MVIS. I made 1,500 bucks. I'm glad you made some cash, man. Those were some good calls. I made some filthy money. Please give tech analysis on IFBD. It's a newer IPO. It's been heavily shorted since opening. HTB is really high. Hard to borrow. Sell or wait for the rip. IFBD, so heavily shorted stocks can squeeze, right? But the problem is that it needs a catalyst. It's just not going to squeeze randomly. It needs a reason. How many to Kraken? 3,000. We get to 3K likes and I'll put back some Kraken. That's the game plan. Joshua James interview is going to happen as well. I'm just waiting for a text back. Just waiting for a text back. So if you're watching right now, Josh, I'd love to have that chat, man. But IFBD, I mean, it's pulling back pretty hard. Personally, what I would do, since there's absolutely no floor here, I mean, it's setting lower lows every single consistent day, is I would wait for that bottom. I mean, it depends on how much you're down, right? So if you're down a pretty good amount and you can't afford the losses, you could average down if you think it's a good company. But, I mean, a heavily shorted stock isn't going to necessarily squeeze unless it has a reason to squeeze. So you need a catalyst of some sort, whether it be heavy sentiment on Reddit, like people are just talking about it. There's a lot of buzz. Maybe they get some great news about the company itself. Like, you need a reason for it to move. Otherwise, it's just a kinetic ball of energy waiting to get pushed down the hill. Well, I gotta come back up. Let's see. I can't see where I was. Holy Toledo, I'm behind. I gotta roll through these. Sorry, guys. All right, what do you consider? Would you consider having r/UMU68 on again to see if he has anything new to add? Was great knowledge, DD, and interview all around. 100%, man. He's a very smart guy. I definitely would. We have to chat for sure. If you ever come up to Maine, I'll take you for some awesome food. We'll have over 200 microbreweries in Portland, Maine. Dude, geek easy. I love a good IPA. I love breweries. That's my stuff. Time for a shot of Kraken? No, not yet. We got to hit 3K likes. We get to 3K and we'll make it happen. Italian BMT or meatball marinara? Please elaborate. So I'm not a BMT guy, the big meaty treat. I'm more of a spicy Italian guy. But the three sandwiches that I roll between is the meatball marinara with pepperoni, pepper jack cheese on Italian herbs and cheese. And I'll get it with lettuce, tomato, pickles, no sauce because the marinara is enough. My second sandwich I like is the steak and cheese. I'll get pepper jack cheese on it, toasted on Italian herbs. And then I'll get lettuce, tomato, pickles, jalapenos, and Southwest with Parmesan cheese. That takes you to Tendy Town. My third sandwich is a spicy Italian on flatbread, pepper jack cheese, toasted. And then I'll get lettuce, tomato, pickles, jalapenos, and Chipotle Southwest, Parmesan cheese. And that takes you to Tendy Town also. Those are my three. I can't pick a favorite. I can't pick a favorite between them all because they're all freaking decent. But I'll tell you what, a meatball marinara with pepperoni is a goddamn send from the heavens. It is the decent. It is the decent. I freaking love it. It's not bad at all. HCMC has been moving. PM has been selling off some shares. Can we get an update, please? I think I'm just going to make a video about this. I think there's a lot of people that have been asking questions. I think tomorrow what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple videos on stocks that I used to talk about on the channel more, and I'll just give you guys an update on some stuff. If you want to see that, drop a girl in the chat. I can definitely do that. Same ones I get. Oh man, this guy knows it. He knows. He knows. We love that. BMT with everything sweet onion, baby. Oh, Darth King's avatar. That's money. We love it. The BMT's good. The BMT's good for sure. Sounds like you have a favorite. I guess I do. I guess I do. A meatball sub you ate the other day looked like an Italian. It was good, man. It was on Italian herbs. Can you talk about OCGN for me? Thanks so much. Definitely can. So OCGN, I think, is going to be one of the last vaccine plays that has a good move, and it's set up for a really nasty bull flag right now. I mean, this is the most bullish bull flag that I've probably seen in a month. I mean, that's nasty. This is a disgusting, disgusting, stupid, filthy bull flag, and it broke that neckline, so the descending level of resistance. Now, I can't guarantee anything. I mean, if a bad hit piece comes out or a bad news catalyst comes out, could kill it for sure. But I mean, it is on an absolute rampage. There's definitely, I think, money to be made here. I think you can make some dirty cash here for sure. It's been as high as 1877. I mean, it's already run a lot, so there's risk involved. Make sure you try to set a trailing stop loss if you get a bad entry point on this. But that's my opinion on it. I think it's bullish. I like it. Here's the link for the DD I was referring to. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Aniston's Adventures. All right. Why share price doesn't matter right now. The only thing that matters are the regulations coming into effect and why they lead us to a specific date that the squeezes could be initiated. The only thing that matters are the regulations. Oh, yes. I get you. This is my very first DD. Disclaimer. Credit where it's due. In order for the squeeze to happen, the entities, regulators, hedge funds, and market makers need to allow it to happen. Right now, the sideways trading of these stocks is being controlled by these three players. Make no mistake, everything that is happening is coordinated in place to minimize the damage this causes to the global market and its primary players. That is the only way these stocks can be so heavily controlled and stable, how interest rates on short shares can be so low, and why we see huge volume in the dark pools. Here are the mechanics behind how this is working right now. Hedge funds shorting, market makers controlling order flow, 100% agree, regulators, the NSCC and the DTCC. I would really recommend reading on the House of Cards. That's a pretty good DD. That was made by Adabit, very smart man. The regulators are the puppet masters, 100%. I mean, they control the way that orders get filled and the naked shorting. But essentially, what they're saying is that the regulations and the policies coming into effect by the SEC is what matters. And I 100% agree, because what that's going to do is force hands. It's going to force liquidations. It's going to force these hedge funds to really own up to their shit and pay up. I mean, otherwise they can get bailed out. And you definitely don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna have to dig into this more. Maybe this is something worth making a video about for sure, because it really encapsulates, and this is cool stuff. It really encapsulates a lot of the different DTC regulations, which is very worth talking about. So I can dig into this. If you guys want to see it, let me know. I can make a video on this tomorrow. If you want to see this in a video, drop some gorillas in the chat, and I can definitely hammer that down. How long have you our Subway? Just wondering. How long have you our Subway? Ling Ling, I don't know if I understand that question. I'm going to be honest with you. But I'll try and answer what I think it means. How long have I been eating Subway? How long have I liked it? I've been eating Subway for every meal of the, not every meal of the day, but once a day. I usually eat one meal a day. I've been eating Subway for one meal a day since I got here in January. So quite a while. What are your thoughts on Infobird? Can you check Fintel's super low free float, 12.35 million, 54% short interest rate fee? I've covered Infobird before. I think it's a very squeezable stock. I mean, the fact that its float is so incredibly low, it's so heavily shorted out of the gates. This is a stock that could really have an insane squeeze, but it just needs a reason to do it, and it hasn't had it yet, right? We need a catalyst. We need people to get heavy sentiment towards this company, and it hasn't happened. This is a ball of energy waiting to get pushed down a hill. So if you, for whatever reason or another, had people that got excited over the stock and all of a sudden wanted to squeeze it, we can make it happen without a doubt. So when are you, one, getting Bob Saget on a live stream? I love that. Or two, buying a meatball sub for Drew's dog Meatball. Oh man. Well, Bob Saget would be a pretty freaking cool dream. I would like that. Trey, that is not healthy. I know. That's not it. But buy a meatball sub, I would do it. I mean, I think I dropped, I gave Andrew a $100 super chat one time, and I said, you better go buy a meatball marinara with us and eat it on your live stream. And I think he did. Why the Texas Tech shirt? Wreck 'em. Oh, horns down, man. Horns down. That's what it's all about. It was given to me by a friend, Pearson. My man. Pearson, if you're in the chat right now, I appreciate that gift. You're the dude. I hung out with him, a couple weekends ago, and he bought me that as a gift, and that's very nice. I was super appreciative. First super chat ever, says Hyper. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Oh, I just read that. Why share price doesn't matter right now? I think I'm going to make a video on it. I think people want to see that, so we'll make that. But I agree, share price doesn't matter, because in the short term, the cheaper you can buy this, because think about this, right? If your end goal, your profit target is for this to hit, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 a share, then when it's trading sideways like this, all that you want to do is to be able to buy it for cheaper, That's ultimately what it comes down to. So if you can buy it for cheap, I mean, I'm super jacked on that. That's why the share price doesn't matter right now. You're just waiting for the end game. When AMC squeezes, I'm getting a tat of a DBZ Grade 8 with diamond hands holding the AMC logo, roaring at the moon. Oh, and Gorilla King under it. Dude, poker pickle snake. Dude, when you do that, I want to see a picture. I want to see it. That'd be freaking sick. That'd make me pretty happy. I plan on getting a tattoo relatively soon. I'm going to wait until after I get heart surgery because I want to cover up the scar. But it's going to be the Kraken on my right pec right here. And it's going to wrap up around my shoulder and the back of my shoulder. And then I'm going to get Kong on my right pec. And it'll cover up my scar from when I get my heart surgery. And it's going to be Kraken and Kong fighting side by side. And I think that's going to be pretty cool. Trey, I love pressing F5 on my keyboard. It's so refreshing. I love it. I got MVIS $12 call the other day when you said it was a good buy, then it ran to 20. Dude, you made some fat cash on that Trey's keyboard. I freaking love that. I love pressing F5 on my keyboard. What does this do? I'm nervous. What does F5 do? What does F5 do? Oh, I don't know. Nothing. Did I press F5 or did I press F6? I have no idea. But that's cool, man. I'm glad you made some cash. Thank you to El Campa Goosh. I appreciate that. Are you going to make a music video for the AMC song you play? Oh, man. Should I make a music video? That'd be kind of funny. That'd be kind of fun. Trey, please check out HMBL. You may have some already. If you do not, it has a ton of good news coming. HMBL? I better check it out. Humble. OTC stock. So just know there's risk involved with OTC markets, but it is trading over $1, which I do like to see. But a lot of people talking about this. I've seen this pop up in the chat bar quite a few times now. Trading at $1.52. I mean, to be honest with you, the setup isn't super bullish, but news catalyst always outweighs technical setup. So if the news catalyst is strong enough to get this back into bullish territory, there's an opportunity here. I am going to bookmark this. I think this is something I'm gonna have to read into because this could be an opportunity for a swing trade that I could talk about. So F5 is refresh. Oh, I get it. I get it. That makes sense. Give me Torchlight, please, and thank you. So Torchlight is a merger stock, and it's unfortunately been getting beat down. I mean, a lot of people have turned off on this for whatever reason. Actually, it's back on an upswing, which is good to see. But this is going to be merging with metamaterials, hypothetically, down the road. And it got a nice little run. 15 MA is trading over the 200 MA again, which is good. We had a little bump in trading volume back here, which is nice. But it's on a little bit of a downtrend right now. Sold off hard from 245, so that's obviously going to be a level of resistance, but that is a hard sell-off. I don't think that's sustainable. So I would watch for a bounce. This could be a little bit of it might form a head and shoulders. You've got a head and shoulder. So if it forms another shoulder right here, I would, take a different entry point. But Torchlight to me is a midterm to long-term play. You're in this for a potential merger with metamaterials. Thoughts on HCMC squeeze made third, AMC 100K. A lot of people are curious about HCMC. I think that HCMC has a really good potential for sure, man. I mean, it's really rocking right now. Up to 0.0024. It's been as high as 0.0065, so it's back on the upswing. I threw some cash in this a while back and still holding a little bit of it in my long-term portfolio because I was here for the Philip Morris lawsuit potential. But I think that if they win that, man, you're going to be looking at some disgusting moves. Nasty, nasty moves. The OPN has a bar rate of 58% of 10K available shares. Can you look and see if you think a squeeze is possible or rip up based on TA? DLPN is I think an NFT play, right? It's possible, yes. Very, very possible that it squeezes. But it needs a catalyst and it needs momentum. So if NFTs, I think NFTs have cooled off a little bit, unfortunately. But if NFTs go on a little bit of a run again, right? You get NFTs that really start moving, that get back into some good bullish territory, this is going to have a disgusting move. I think you could very, very easily see it test 3782. I think the only NFT play that's really been rocking is TCAT. I think TCAT has been on a rampage for the last couple days. Yeah, it's been moving for sure. Wow, that is nasty. It looks like such a small run because of how much it ran up to $74, but freaking jeez, that's nasty, nasty. Holy Toledo. Wow. It could. I think Dolphin could definitely do it though, for sure. Based on the technical setup, what are you looking for? It's on ascending level of support, which is good. 15 MA is gapped up over the 200 MA, which I like to see. The volume is a little bit sporadic. I'm not necessarily a fan of that. But for a squeeze, you're not looking for consistent volume. It's going to be unpredictable. The day it squeezes, you're only going to know because the volume will bump. You're going to be looking at a stupid increase in volume. So I would keep it on your watch list, and if it runs a particular day, you can take advantage of it. This, to me, looks like an opportunity for a buy. I'm going to be honest. A sell-off, I mean, the entire day, 2-hour candles that are all red, that's not sustainable. They can't sustain that. I think that's an entry point potential for sure. Thank you, El Campa. I appreciate that. Any idea if OTC shares are bad because Robinhood, Webull are selling us only over-the-counter shares from AMC and not New York Stock Exchange shares? Please, any idea? So over-the-counter is unregulated, right? So essentially what's possible there is this is what I don't like. Citadel manages a lot of those dark pools / OTC, exchanges. So the risk is that they have vested interest. So if Citadel is managing the transactions for AMC or GameStop, but they short the stock, that raises some questions and concerns, right? I don't necessarily like that. So what I would say is, let's say hypothetically you have this situation. I said I'm going to sell a bike to you. My name's Trey. I'm going to sell it to a guy named Mike. So I sell my bike to Mike, but instead of actually selling him my bike, I end up selling him a plastic bike, a fake bike, and I sell my bike to somebody else. So I had one bike, but I made profit on 2 bikes. So what happens if you've got Citadel, who's supposed to handle the transaction of Tendy over here? So instead of sending Tendy real shares, he gives Tendy IOUs. And then instead of, using those shares for him, he shorts the actual shares into the market. It's possible. I mean, he could double up on a single share that way, which is why I don't like them having vested interest in managing those OTC transactions for AMC. It's freaking sketchy. It's super sketchy. What can we do about it? Honestly, nothing. I mean, there's very, very limited brokerage firms out there, mainstream brokerage firms out there that don't utilize that. It's a thing that I think has to change with SEC filings and policies. I think we'll get there someday. When will it happen? I don't think anybody knows, but it's freaking scary for sure, man. So you only eat Subway. Ling Ling. I eat other stuff, but during the weekdays, mostly, yeah, just Subway. Don't tell my mom. She's not going to like that. She'll say, Trey, how come you're not eating good? You need to eat better. I know. It treats me okay. How do you like ADVM? ADVM. Oh, I think I saw somebody ask in the chat bar what microphone I use. This is the Elgato Wave 3. It's a very freaking nice mic. And I took like an hour to watch a tutorial on YouTube about good OBS settings so you can get the most bang for your buck out of your mic. And I've got a really, really solid OBS setup on this. So let's see if I can just pull up the mix that I've got for my microphone. Microphone, filters. So if you want to use what I'm using, this is what I do. This is my setup. So I use a compressor, I've got gain, I've got a noise gate, and I've got a limiter. This is the exact settings that I use to make sure that I've got a good, clean, crisp sound, and there's no noise. So when I'm not talking, the microphone is quiet. It doesn't pick up a whole bunch of other BS, which is nice. The gain just makes your mic a little bit louder, so you don't have to have your headphones turned up too loud. The noise gate cleans up threshold, and the limiter cleans up some sound problems as well. But ADVM, I haven't looked at that yet. Let me check it out. Adverum. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's just stupid. That is dumb. How did that happen? Yikes. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. That ain't it. That's ugly. 1023. This would have been on the 28th, huh? Today's the 1st, so the 30th, 29th, 28th, 3 days ago. 2 days ago. Provides update on diabetic macular edema trial. Maintains their hold rating. Goldman Sachs adjusts price target to $10 from $28. Maintains buy rating. Adjusts price target to $9 from $30. Ooh. So I'm assuming it is just a bad hit piece. So if I had to guess, I don't know anything about this company, but they seem like they're a pharmaceutical type company. Looking at their profile, they are. So if I had to take a stab at it, they probably, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know anything about these guys, but they probably had a pipeline product they were expecting to have results on relatively soon, and either A, the results weren't what they wanted, or B, the timeline got pushed back. And because of that, analysts decreased their buy rating, which led to a pretty massive sell-off. If you believe in a company like this, and you think it's going to do good things long term, this is what you love to see. This is a perfect buy opportunity if it's a good company. I don't know anything about the company, so I can't tell you, but I tell you what, that's a really unnatural sell-off. So it had to have been a pretty bad ding in News Catalyst. Sent you a Twitter message a while back. Wonder if you could take a look at it. It's a discussion topic that would be great to hear your thoughts on. I need a handle. If you give me a Twitter handle when you ask me to check messages and stuff, it helps out a lot. Jim Van Cleve. Let me look. I find joy in the little things in life, but also my yacht, says Jordan Belford. Good to know. All right. Jim Van Cleve. James Bond should be a moderator for Trey's chats. Where's James Bond at? James Bond, please. Van Cleve. I've got a lot of freaking Twitter messages, man. So if you want to shoot me a new message so it's sent to the top, that would help. Just let me know. What streaming software do I use? I use OBS. That is my go-to. OBS takes care of me. I started the transfer from Robinhood to Webull on Friday, thinking the AMC earnings report could make something bullish. You think I'll be all right? Love your stuff, man. I've heard some people say it only takes a couple days, and I've heard some people say it takes a couple weeks. It's all dependent on your individual situation. Hopefully you're good, man. I personally think the squeeze is going to happen sometime in mid-May to early June, but that's one guy's opinion, right? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. That's the ultimate answer. Eban. That's fun to say. Eban. Appreciate everybody stopping in, by the way. This is nice. This is good. I like these weekend live streams. It's very chill. We get this to 3K likes by the end of the stream. I will put back a little bit of that Kraken and give you guys a good toast for showing up on this beautiful Saturday. It means a lot to me. I'm going to do an analysis on this really quick and then just use the bathroom and I'll be back. But appreciate everybody tuning in to the Treyders podcast. You know how it is. You know what it is. Drop those gorillas in the chat. I don't know why I'm talking like that. That sounds so goofy. All right, anyways, let's start from scratch. It's bearish, obviously. I mean, 15 MA is trading underneath the 200 MA. The volume is consistently decreasing every single day, which isn't a good look. This is some new lows. Let's look at this on a 6 month. Maybe it'll be different. Yeah, I mean, these are some all-time lows. If you get a bounce off this support at 381, there's an opportunity for a good swing trade. So that's what I would watch for, right? If you get a bounce off 381, good news catalyst to support that bounce that's sustainable over a long period of time, you could get a nice test again for, I mean, even $10. If you hit $10, you triple your money, which is solid. So that's what I would watch for. Pickle Man says that BOOB is going to squeeze sometime soon. That's funny. You crack me up. How far will you be from Jacksonville, North Carolina? I'll be living in the Fayetteville area. Viacom reversal. I think it's on the verge, man. I really do. I think Viacom is very close to that reversal. It's getting there. It broke out of this downtrend, so you had a descending level of resistance, which is good. And the 15 MA is slowly hooking back up towards that 200 MA. You had the last 3 days that were a little bit bearish, but I think the reversal is on the horizon. I really, really do. How long will it take? I don't think anybody knows, but I think it's coming. I do, for sure. You were looking for that 15 MA. So that 15 MA needs to hook up towards that 200 MA. You need a good bump in trading volume because the volume is trending downwards. RSI is at 44 right now. I think if you could buy this when it's at 30, that's probably your best bet. There's a pretty consistent outflow in cash coming from this right now. I think if I had to guess, it's retail investors that probably are holding up here that are sick of waiting. They think it's not worth their time. They'd rather make the money up somewhere else. I think it's just a matter of time, though. I think Viacom and Discovery will both make their bounces. It just hasn't happened yet. Percentage-wise, from 0 to 100, what's the percentage that the AMC squeeze will happen? Thinking about selling my Dogecoin profits and dumping it on AMC. I'm like 95 to 99% certain it's going to happen. The only possible way I think that it doesn't happen is if hedge funds could somehow exit their short positions all of them, the hundreds of millions of shares that they have, right, without pushing the stock price up. Because the moment this thing gets over 15 bucks, 20 bucks, the hype, the FOMO, the momentum is gonna run. It's gonna get stupid. It's gonna get disgusting. And if that happens, it's freaking game. I'm telling you, like, if we get over 15 bucks, I think it is Tendy Town. It's time for Tendy Town. So I'd watch for that. James, I appreciate that, man. James Camp says he likes my energy. I'm just chilling, brother. I just try to have fun and answer some questions, have a good time, and chat with everybody. Trey, will you show us your $5 footlong meatball sub on your OnlyFans? Oh yeah, definitely. You better bet that I had some Subway today. It wasn't a meatball. I had a steak and cheese, but you know how it goes. You know how it goes. I miss you when you don't have videos or lives. Dude, I know, Pam. It's tough. I wish that I could live stream. It's my job, unfortunately, it is what it is, right? So I have an obligation to my job. I have to do my work. And it's not so simple as, I got to do what I got to do, So it's not permanent. There will be a day, someday, when I do this full time. And when that happens, I will be jacked to the teeth, man. I'll be loving it. I'll be living life, and we'll make some money and have a lot of fun on those live streams. Call me a crazy mofo, but I currently have 750 of those 6 $18 $4 calls. Dude, I hope they print for you. I mean, if you make that cash, you will be freaking stupid well off. How much are they costing you? $40 calls, huh? Oh, I'm looking at puts. I mean, they're not super expensive, so that's good. 30 times 750. Oh my god, dude. 22 grand, huh? Woo! That's a bet, man. That's a bet. I probably would call you a crazy mofo. I don't know what your portfolio looks like or what your net worth is, but I mean, if you hit that, dude, you're gonna be pretty well off. Just that's risk. There's risk involved. I don't condone that to anybody. That is definitely risky. But dude, you're seriously in my thoughts. I hope that freaking prints for you, because you will be wealthy. You'll be stupid wealthy if that prints. Dumb wealthy. What are your thoughts on Gush? Clean energy is the future, but gas/oil is still now. It was $600 pre-COVID and $60 now. $15K 2 years ago. I think that gas prices could, and I don't know if this is actually going to influence stock price or not, but I think gas prices are going to go up, which will increase demand, right? So if prices are going up, that means there's higher demand, which means there's likely either a lower supply or it's more difficult to get supply out. So if that happens, that's probably going to influence the price of Gush. So I think there's opportunity here to make money. I think so. I could see it. I don't know if it'll hit $2,000 or $15,000, but I think there's money to be made here for sure. Man, look at that. That is nasty. 82 grand. Dirty, man. That's filthy. Wow. Yeah, that's nasty, dude. There's definitely money that could be made here. Look at that. $1,600 back in 2020. Woo! It very well could print, dude. I don't know. I'm more of a clean energy guy. I mean, but if you want to take a shot at it, go ahead. It's bullish in the time being. I mean, you look at this on the 1 month. You're looking for a bounce off of about $66. It looks like the 15 MA is going to cross back underneath the 200 EMA, so I'd watch for a little bit of a level out. We haven't had it yet, a reversal. What you look for is a bullish, like an engulfing candlestick pattern, right? So something like this. This is a picture-perfect engulfing candlestick pattern. That is a sign of a bullish reversal upcoming, and what you're looking for a good bounce and continuation trend. Thank you to Abdu. I appreciate that super chat, man. That means a lot. Hey, Trey, new ape here. Learned a lot from your videos. What's your thoughts on Nokia and BlackBerry? Brian, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, drop some gorillas in the chat. I want to see. I want to see all those new apes who are joining the community. It's good to have you a part of the gorilla gang. Abdu says, do you think this squeeze will likely happen when people who lend their money to hedge funds start to ask for their money back? Because we just don't know how many synthetic shares are out there. The battle is with the devil himself, literally. I feel you, man. I think that's what it's going to be. Literally, I think it's going to be liquidation. I think that hedge funds that are short on stocks are going to get liquidated and forced to close short positions. And when that happens, the squeeze will run. It'll be nasty. I mean, you're going to see blue chip stocks, very, very high amounts of blue chip stocks. I think are going to tank hard. And when that happens, the short stocks that have to get covered will do the opposite. They'll run. They'll squeeze. I think that's what it's going to take. I think you're 100% spot on. My girl laughed when you said the big difference is size. I love that. It matters and no one is talking about it. That's not even what I meant, but it makes me laugh nonetheless. Mochianu Marius, I appreciate that. Ken Griffin says, hi, Treyders, sending some love. Good luck. Dude, Ken Griffin, I'm sending you some love too. You're going to need it. I love these YouTube channels. I love these, man. I'm telling you, you find some people that are funnier than this chat bar. You find some people funnier than this chat bar. You guys make me laugh literally every freaking live stream. I just can't get enough. Can't get enough of this. What is your squeezy percent for AMC? Squeezy. What am I thinking it'll do? I don't want to influence other people's decisions. That's just a fact. I don't want to tell you guys what to do. I want to relay information. And when I decide to exit, I will tell you. And it's going to be that simple. So I'm going to make an exit strategy video. I'm going to tell you my exact plan for how to get out of this stock. But I don't really want to, I don't like price targets. That's my personal opinion, because we have to take what's on the table, right? So like if the majority of apes all of a sudden decide to sell it at $5,000 and that's what ends up happening, then are we all just going to be bag holders when if it stays down and doesn't ever recover? Like we need to work with what we get. So we'll take it day by day. Like I think 100K is 100% realistic. It's possible. It is. It could happen. But it depends on a lot of things lining up. So we'll take it day by day, man. I'll tell you this is I don't plan on selling until I feel like I can give back to a lot of people. I want to give back to the community. I want to be able to take care of a lot of freaking people. I want to have some generational wealth to take care of my family. And we're not there yet. We're not even close to there yet. So we'll wait it out. ETC has been going crazy recently. Love you, Lamp. Lamp is holding the fort down. Oh, I didn't even go to the bathroom. I've been just holding my pee. I'll be right back, guys. Lamp will hold the fort. Give me just a couple minutes. Goddamn Subway cup. Good job. She did it. All right. ETC has been going crazy recently. Love you, Lamp. ETC. 801, 8-bet. I love that. We love our lady apes. Wow, this has been nasty. Yeah, you're not kidding. You're not freaking kidding. That's dirty. It has really been running. I wouldn't buy it. That's a pretty heavy chase. I mean, I think it's probably going to take a little bit of a reject. I don't know for sure, but I'd be careful. You're in bag holding. I love that. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right. Take a look at ISNS Friday before close. Looks to have squeezed and was halted at least 3 times that I saw. Yeah, so that's why I want AMC to squeeze during the pre-market or after hours. Really, really bad. Yeah, it was definitely halted, and that's a momentum killer. You don't want stocks to halt. And I think that's why AMC squoze during the pre-market and the after hours, because they can't halt it that way. I mean, it can halt, don't get me wrong, but it's based on news, based on fraudulence with the SEC, based on fraudulence with filing, whatever it might be. But they can't halt based on price action in the pre-market or after hours. That's a fact, right? So I think the best case scenario for AMC squeeze is the pre-market or after hours. I mean, that's where you're gonna get the most nasty moves for sure. But yeah, I mean, momentum was definitely killed. I mean, that had to, because look at how low the volume was there. That had to be shorts covering. That had to be. There's no other. Like, I just don't see any other way. How could it be? How could it have run that much off of that low volume if it wasn't a squeeze? You know, that had to be shorts covering. Jimmy stopped at 500 because that's when the manipulation stopped people from buying the stock, which stopped the squeeze. Did people forget this? 100%, Keith. You're right. You're right, man. You're 100% right. If you take off buying it, that's the only direction it can go is down. The only direction it can go, for sure. Message you on Twitter asking you to make a video to have all us apes agree on a holding level for AMC price-wise. 1K, 1.5K, etc. Mr. Alex J, unfortunately, I can't do that, right? I can't do that because that's collusion, right? I can't tell people and I can't advise people when to sell a stock, right? All I can say is what I would personally do. But I will talk about prices and what I think of them in my exit strategy video. I can't make a video saying we should all agree to sell at this level because that's collusion. And I would instantly get put in front of Congresswoman like our boy DFV. And that is not a good idea. I would not win that case. Before you move, let me buy you a burger in OKC. Dan, I got you, man. Next time I'm in OKC, I'll tweet it out and you can shoot me a message. SEC stopped trading ISNS 15 minutes before close, mooning due to squeeze. Will this happen to AMC? It very well could. It could. But what it's going to depend, what you're hoping for is when it halts like that, people don't panic. That's what it's going to take. When a stock halts due to momentum, believe it or not, that's a normal thing, right? That's happened for a very long time. Stocks halt because of volatility. So if a stock goes up 10% in less than 5 minutes, they'll halt it. And that's essentially like a fail-safe. It's like, okay, take 5 minutes, guys, or 15 minutes, or however long the halt is, to think about whether it's a good idea to buy or sell right now. It's just to calm down emotions and to calm down FOMO or fear. It can go both ways, right? If it drops too much too fast, you can halt. So when that stuff happens, know that it's normal for a stock to halt based on volatility. It's not normal for a stock to stop trading, like if you can't buy it, right? That's not normal. That's a different thing. But if a stock halts, just don't panic, right? That's all that it is. So don't panic due to volatility. Don't panic if it halts. You just gotta, like, all that our job is if you want to see AMC squeeze, if I want to see AMC squeeze, we just gotta keep holding until we're happy with the price. It could happen. We can't panic. Thoughts on Hive? This is OTC stock. Wow, look at that. That's dirty. Disgusting inverse head and shoulders pattern. I mean, if you'd seen this inverse head and shoulders pattern in the neckline break, that would have been a beautiful opportunity for a good push. I mean, that's as good as it gets. That's picture perfect. Picture perfect. And if it gets a break out of this big, large-scale descending level of resistance, which it's very close to, it could have an even farther push. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Not at all. It's an opportunity. It's extended. I probably wouldn't take an entry point immediately at open. I would wait for potential test of retracement. So if you were to look at a retracement, a strong one is probably about 50%. So if it holds at 350, that's probably a good buy, I would say. Stop loss probably 3 or 4%. I may have taken a more risky options call following Matt. My own fault, but I thought it was a good risk at the time. I have $25 and $30 calls for 521. How would you play this if you was me? It's okay, man. I mean, I've lost money on options too. All that we need to know with options is that it's a risk. It's a risk. It's risky because if we're wrong, we lose our money. So ultimately, I think the first thing I have to say is whatever you put into it, I hope you're willing to lose by the off chance that it's wrong. If you're up on them, personally, this is just me, if you want to play $25 or $30 strikes, I would just set them for a further out expiration date, right? Take your profits and move it into something else. If you're down on them, this is me, right? Do what you want to do. It's entirely up to you. If it was me, I would probably take my losses on a $25 or $30 strike because shoot, man. I mean, it could squeeze by the 21st, but nobody knows. That's the thing. And that's why I like playing just barely out the money call options, because if they run up, you make a little bit of cash. You can either A, exercise them so that you want to drive up the failure to delivers. If you want to do that, that's cool. Or B, sell your calls for profit and then buy more stock. That's a good way to do it. Matthew Perry, good to see you here, man. What's going on? Good to see you streaming. Appreciate you stopping in. I try to show Matt Perry some love. I always stop in his live streams in the morning before I go to work. AJ Nicholas, thank you for that. Joe says, how do you feel about AM? I've never heard of that company, but I'll check it out. So let's look at this on a 3-month. It's pretty freaking solid. I mean, I don't mind it. It's riding a really decent ascending level of support. That's a pretty crazy drop, though. What's up with this gap? Do they have a bad news catalyst? Gifted shareholders with a fantastic 119% total return on their investments. That's pretty good. I don't know why that would. First quarter 2021. So it must have just been not a good earnings report if I had to guess. Let's look at their financials. Annual. They grow year over year. I mean, so it's a pretty sound investment from what I can see just at face value. I don't know anything about the company. Let's look at their balance sheets. Their cash and cash equivalents. They've got 640K, down a little bit. You look at their assets, 93 million. Their total assets, 5.6 billion. Total liabilities, 94 million. So they're sitting, I'd say, pretty good. I mean, it's not a bad. I dig it. I think there's opportunity here for sure. As a long-term investment, I think it could definitely run. What do they do? Fossil fuels, oil, energy. It's not sustainable, I wouldn't say. I think eventually fossil fuels are going to go to the wayside, but there's definitely money to make here in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years until green energy is really mainstream. So if it gets a nice bounce, look for an engulfing candlestick pattern off of this ascending level of support. This doesn't necessarily mean that it broke. If you get a wide range 1 hour candle like this green one that opens and closes beneath that, I would consider that to be more substantial. Oh man, JF Wall Street Viking says, Matt Perry, I heard you might know who killed JFK. I got $14 calls for June 18th. Should they print? I like that. I think that's pretty safe. I think that you've got a very good chance of those coming in the money. Can you please share your thoughts on CSLT? I like those $14 calls because they're out the money a little bit and you've given a nice amount of runway and time for them to print. I think that's got a very good shot of coming in the money. This has got a big fat, you know what it is, George W setup. I love this. That's dirty. And it broke the neckline, which is good at $1.79, holding it very well. You've got, these are 2 hour candles. So you've got a 2 hour candle that is opened and you've got multiple 2 hour candles that have opened and closed above that neckline. I think it's got a very good shot at continuation. Very good shot. I don't know if I would buy it right now because it hasn't really retraced much yet. There's risk involved with the run up this heavy. So if you do take a stab at this, trailing stop loss is your friend. I would say have 3 or 4% stop on it, and you can always take a re-entry, right? It's much better to get a re-entry and take that 3% loss than to be bag holding on a 20% loss, you know, because you're saving money in the long term. Be skydiving since you won't reply. Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm Mike, I'm sorry. I promise you, I'm not trying to. Happy to see you on live again. I'd rather be skydiving. Let me follow you quick. Yeah, give me 1 sec. I'd rather be skydiving. Did I enter that right? I'd rather be skydiving. Oh, be skydiving is what it's called. There we go. I got you, man. God, that's cool. Skydiving shirtless? That's gotta be freaking cold. Isn't that cold, dude? Look at this. Skydiving shirtless. Oh, it's gotta be freezing. I'm a cold baby, man. I'm too skinny to be cold. I don't like doing that. I love skydiving. I love skydiving, but... Matt says, what are your thoughts? Zoom short volume the last 4 days. 30% to 40% short. Let's check out all the data. I'll pull up Ortex and I'll look at the short volume ratio and see what we got rocking. So let's look at the overall trend. Days to cover on the 2 days going up exponentially, with the volume staying consistently low, means that the short interest is probably going up. And here you can see that it is up 2.41% in the last trading day. You look at the estimated short interest over the last week, and it's up 127%, which is disgusting. That's a crazy, crazy amount. So very, very obviously being heavily shorted. The short interest is not high. I mean, it's 4.74%, but if it hits like 7, 8, 10%, that's enough for a short-term good squeeze. I mean, that's really all you need. Utilization is continuously going up. It's at 51.95%. Cost to borrow, nothing crazy. Days to cover on the 2 week is sitting at 0.75, so that's trending away from the 3 month. It's definitely being heavily shorted. I mean, that is pretty picture perfect heavy shorting. Let's look at it on this. Oof. It had 61% short volume on the 27th. I mean, that's nasty. I don't see how that's justified in any sort of way, but they're going to get slapped if they keep doing that, man. I genuinely think Zomedica's got potential for some gains. I really, really do. They're not there. And what's really cool to see is it's being this heavily shorted, but it's holding. I mean, that means that people are buying this and holding it up. So I think they're going to get slapped. I don't think that's a good idea. I really don't think it's a good idea, especially. So this is my thoughts on it. The reason they're probably shorting it like this is because they think they can bankrupt this company because it's sold off so much. Like, why would they all of a sudden start to short this more than it already was back here, right? They're shorting it more than they used to, probably because they want to drain this thing to zero. And if they do that, they don't have to pay taxes. People lose money. They don't have to. I mean, they make a crap ton. It's greedy as hell, but that's the only thing that I can rationally think of is Zome. They're trying to bankrupt this company, and I think they're gonna get slapped, man. That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. I think once Trueforma, revenue comes out and they can tell about how many systems they've sold, there's opportunities for them to get freaking crushed, for sure. All right, I'll stay on here for a couple more minutes, and then I am going to go have a conversation with a couple people on my in the area here and have some fun and kick back. It is the weekend, but I want to hop on for a couple hours. Let's see what we got. IX Henry, how many of these do I have left? Did you scroll back up? My brother Pearson, appreciate that, man. Wow, I'm a little behind still. Ooh. Adam stops short attack. Coors put out a video on that. Short attack stopped. Really? I'm gonna have to check this out. Bad day to be a hedgie. I love it. I'm gonna have to watch this. I'm gonna have to watch this. That looks interesting. A big moment in history. The great battle of $10 AMC. Yes, sir. I'll check it out, man. I'll check it out. He's a smart dude. I trust his opinion for sure. Is free trade a good place to have my AMC shares? I think so. I like them. I'm just praying for the squeeze as I'm in the process of moving. I think it's safe. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll check out GTT quick, and then I'll answer a couple more of these, and then I'm gonna head out here. But I want to hop on for a couple hours and reconnect with everybody. Bar fee rate is at 74.9, so it definitely could squeeze, but it's in a downtrend right now, right? So I'd wait for a bottom. So watch for this test of $1.50, and if you get a bounce off $1.50, that's a pretty solid entry point for a potential bounce and make some cash for sure. But you need a catalyst, right? So what does this company do? They're a tech company, so you probably want a really good news catalyst, or maybe this gets picked up by Reddit. But it's otherwise just a ball of kinetic energy, right? Heavy short interest doesn't mean that a stock will squeeze. Heavy short interest with people paying attention to heavy short interest is a reason for the stock to squeeze, right? So you would need enough people to pay attention to GTT for a little bit of a micro move. But in the current, I mean, there's not any volume here. It's trending down, it looks like, in volume. Look at the daily candles. Yeah, trending down in volume. It's just, what does it float on this? 46 mil, and a typical day is 837,000. So it's just not there. It's not there yet. Just not quite ready. Thank you to Sherry. I appreciate that. And Miner says, "Sup, Trey? Thanks for being on our side, brother. I'm in heavy on AMC, but do you think Dogecoin is a long-term hold, or maybe cash out at $1? I think Dogecoin is a fascinating stock because it could very easily have a nasty run. Like, it could continue for years and years, potentially, but it depends very heavily on the sentiment of Dogecoin continuing to remain as high as it always has been. That's what it needs. Trey, new lamp render. I posted in a Discord art channel. Yes! Oh, we gotta see this. We gotta see this. My boy. Let me check this out. Hold on. I gotta show you guys this lamp art. This makes me excited. I'm pumped for this. Oh, where are you at? Where are you at? Oh, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Look at this. Look at this. Lamp. Oh, that's cool. Come on. Come on. Oh, I love that. Oh, man. I've never thought you could make a lamp look so badass. I didn't think you could do it. How can you make a lamp look this cool? You just can't. Lamp. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy, Lamp. That's freaking awesome. That's freaking nice. Scott Sanders, good to have you here, brother. Thanks for joining the Gorilla Gang. We're glad to have you here. All right, guys. Well, I'll tell you what. That is going to be the live stream for today. I'm going to log on again tomorrow, and I'm going to do another live stream, probably another 2 or 3 hour live stream, just to chat with everybody. We can talk about AMC stock, another Ask AMA, just stocks in general, AMC, different DD, that sort of stuff. And we'll just kick back and enjoy. So I want to recognize everybody that did drop a super chat. Even if I didn't answer your question, I apologize. I try to get to as many people as I can. But I'm going to thank Nerdy, Bright, we got Geek Easy, Michael, Christopher, Aaron, Joey, Take the Money and Run, TJ, Trader Mike, Cyber, Cat, Spirit Shop Music, Impulse, Johnny, Dan, One Love, William, M. James, Tony's Tube, Justin, Hector, Mike, Jonathan, Jurg, Jeremy, my brother Pearson. We got Chris, Thomas, CT, Tasswood, Timothy, Mage Ma, XJ Thunder, Galaxy, Impulse Control, Big Joe's Burgers, Superfly, Slay, Nerge, Ryan, Geek Easy, Robert, McKean, DV, JF, Wall Street, Viking, I Am Ruthless, Anthony, Steve Grace, Yaddy, Parm Deep, Mike again, and Brandon. Woo! All right. I appreciate everybody. I'm sorry that I didn't get to your super chats. I really do try my best. It's not ever necessary to drop those. I like going back and forth between the chat bar and the super chat just so I can respect everybody. But if you did drop one, it does mean a lot to me. I want to at least recognize you. But we'll be back again on Sunday for another live stream. Hope you guys enjoy the live stream with me and Lamp. We'll be back again. Much love, my fellow gorillas, apes, orangutans, silverbacks. Peace out. Much love. As always, later.